build Morphe. That poppy man did smell like Kalissa.
I would love to see Crisp's Rakan. Again, weird combo there, but Crisp on roamers. I just need to see him have some ability to get out on the map. We saw it even with the Ashe and the utility, the hot shot, but that is when Crisp has been at his deadliest so far this split.
Gonna be a little crazy here. I think I might like a Nico for Crisp right here. Playing into that double range, into the Nami Lucian, sets up the team fights really well. Lucian, very short range AD carry. You grab your Nico, you drop it into that team fight. You create so much space for your team to play around. You have got Maokai creating so much space, the Cassante as well. I feel like a Nico could be a great choice here, as well as any other pretty much melee champion as well. But they definitely suffer into Lucian lanes. Ooh, hold up.
That would be huge.
Hold up.
But I do love the confidence of a Renekton still being played for Zika, still also grabbing the Rel for Weiwei. There's that Nico you talked about.
I love Weibo Gaming. I just love what they're doing. I feel like LNG are pinning them on red side, and they have all the answers, myself. They take a very safe red side top laner in the likes of a Cassante. Really difficult to gank or dive from red side due to the wall structures. Maokai worked wonders for them. Got MVP for the game. Xiaohao on his Tristana was by far one of the best performing Tristanas in the playoffs so far, especially in his IG series. And then you've got a bot lane that can pressure Lucian Nami.
Lô anh em nhá.
Cái
gì đây? Sẽ pick cái gì đây nhá?
I also really like to see the direction the coach is giving.
WBG
Handing between Xiaohu and Xiaohao, saying this needs to work. You got to find some strategy because the last time around there was so much pressure given by this duo. And honestly, it's been a duo that has been really huge. I don't know if you remember, if the audience remembers, but at the beginning of the split, the entire promo, one of the biggest hitting moments was Xiaohao after their loss last year on AL, a devastating one, and a crying interview afterwards. But the quick tick into Xiaohu saying, I will lift you to that mountaintop, we will get there together. This is another step towards that direction. This is another step in Xiaohao becoming a prominent jungler in the LPL. Now it is game 2 that LNG desperately want, as they want to claw their way back into this best of 5. But Weibo struck first and struck hard, same way they started off the last time around, just a couple days. We will see game 2 between LNG and Weibo.
Okay, cheers from both sides. Yeah, absolutely. And now I love how you set up Xiaohao because he's the one replacing Weiwei. Weiwei was in his exact spot last year, making it all the way to Worlds Finals with Weibo Gaming, and now Xiaohao is the one replacing him. He's doing a fantastic job right here, and if anything, he has the chance to eliminate him from this bracket as well. Get him out of the playoffs. And we talked about a lot of the win conditions for Weibo Gaming, but for LNG, I feel like it's very clear. Get Gala. Gala on the Lucian plus Nami combo. I need Weiwei to be active this time around. I need Weiwei to path towards that bot side of the map to get Gala ahead. Early kills onto the Lucian. Get that Lucian huge mid-game spike. Lucian in the mid lane. Chunk down anyone who walks up. Deep into river. Take controls of objectives. This is the plan for LNG. I just need to see more of Weiwei in this particular game than I did in game 1.
And I think this game is going to be very telling on how the rest of the games in the best of go, because we're getting a version of LNG that are trying to strike back a little bit to Weibo, who Weibo have traditionally been a very slow team.
LNG kèo trên rồi.
They've turned it up a little bit, learning their lesson from IG.
Alo Ninh Phạm nhá. Đường dưới thì cái bộ đôi Lucian với Hăng này chắc chắn là kèo trên rồi. Chắc chắn là sẽ đẩy đường. Nhưng mà với một con reo thì tôi nghĩ là khó băng trụ được ấy. Tôi nghĩ trận này tài tham. Tôi nghĩ trận này tài tham.
From light, which is kind of huge, especially when you know that Rel is going to be pathing towards the bot side of the map. You are in a little bit of a timer right here in terms of getting dived. Great.
Kèo này đi tài tham anh em ơi.
That's exactly what you want to be seeing.
Nay Duy không lên nhá, thầy lên chém gió với anh để em tí đỡ buồn, ngồi chán không có gì làm. Ngồi chém gió với anh em tí, mẹ nhà đang mất nước ạ, vãi lồn cay. Thề đi phải mất nước khó chịu quá. Game này đi gì vậy thầy? Tài tham anh em ơi. Tài tham nhá. Tài tham 32. Tài tham anh em ơi. Tài tham 32. Let's go. Đội này có đánh nhau làm sao được. Anh em chỉ farm thôi. Đen lắm thì mới ra xỉu.
Xiaohu for Weibo yet another year, but it's curious how their stories have developed so far, and now they're going to have pivotal roles in helping out their junglers. Weiwei striking first on the Scuttle Crab.
I feel like they're going to get Xiaohu to deep into River right here. Xiaohu is wrapping around, which means that Weiwei does not know that he's there. Gala not the healthiest in terms of HP.
Ô địt mẹ mày đánh nhau rồi. Phải lồn à. Cái thế này mà nó đánh nhau được thì cũng đỉnh thật. Cái thế này mà nó bảo đánh nhau thì cũng được. Đỉnh vãi.
And giving away his position on the map, he decided to wrap around instead. Now Scout is gonna try to put some hurt onto Xiaohu, but Xiaohu with the first tower plating 4 minutes into the game. Weibo again with a fantastic opener to game 2 of the series.
That's what's crazy. This Weibo, we literally were calling them the tortoise. This was gonna be the matchup of the tortai, as I called it, because both teams played so slow. But Weibo have turned it up a notch. We actually take a look at that early play here.
Oh, that was so clever, because Xiaohu was wrapping around, trying to go for the Scuttle Crab, not seeing Weiwei. But the second he spots him onto the ward, he just wraps around. He knows that Gala and Hank have just taken a very aggressive trade, and I'm loving the flash E coming out from Chris to force a flash out of Hank, which means that Xiaohu doesn't even have to burn any summoners. He just walks in, throws sapling, twisted advance, dead.
Weiwei missing the shattering strikes there. Maybe there was a chance to turn around. Here he comes to fight Xiaohu in front of the Telegrubbies. Guys, these are some cartoons. We just want to be friendly and watch some cartoons together. Xiaohu, he does not realize there's a giant croc there. Does end up seeing him at the last second. Trying to get away here. Not going to have an angle, but Xiaohu here to put some damage on the Zico while Weiwei is taking down those two Scuttle, at least the Rift Scuttles. As now, Xiaohu makes it out alive somehow.
I don't know about that one. I think that was a huge misstep right here from Xiaohu, because Xiaohu was on a reset. Ziddy did not have priority on the top side whatsoever, and Xiaohu starts the void grabs. Luckily for him, does manage to yoink one out, but that's the TP out of your mid laner. That's your own flash, and this one void grab better be worth it, because you lost quite a bit of pressure in terms of your mid lane priority right here. If Xiaohu ends up going down to a Weiwei gank with no TP, you lose so much. Look at Weiwei. He's been so patient, trying to see if he can catch out Xiaohu.
He still has flash, still has his rocket jump, gonna get some damage back on a scout. The buster shot helps even up the odds here. Now he can rocket jump his way back after the reset from the explosive charge.
Yeah, hits them with a thumbs up. Nice try. Good one. And again, we expected Weiwei to be a little bit more active. He's been towards the top side of the map. He's been towards the bot side of the map. A little bit later was the bot. But we still see Weiwei trying to make plays onto the map. I feel like LNG heavily rely on him in this early game on their rel to try and get them ahead. Now, of course, he's looking for that level 6, level 5. A couple more camps potentially clearing that top side of the map that's going to be coming up. Level 6 is going to be huge, especially fighting around that dragon that's up and available right now onto the map.
What's crazy for me, for Weiwei, even though we're seeing some rough performances early into this one, he was literally in the World Finals in summer. It was actually insane. This guy wasn't even playing in spring. He came in summer for Weibo and had a big run to help facilitate around the team. And it feels like now in playoffs yet again, he needs to try to light that fire under himself a little bit more. The Rel performances so far, just trying to get the facilitation for them. They are a little late to this dragon. Weibo already struck it down to about 1,000 health, and Xiaohao will claim that first dragon for Weibo.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they're playing with the timers, right? Scout was all the way back in base. It was resetting. Weibo didn't use that. Wait, please!
I think I just gassed or cursed him a little bit. Luckily, it won't fall, so I don't have to take any responsibility.
Anh em đi xem LCK hết rồi ở đây, flop vãi lìn.
I'm gonna have to say it. I'm gonna say what I'm saying.
Đéo qua ai xem cái trận rẻ rách này.
Ooh, loving the clone right there from Chris to tank most of the colors.
Bảo sao thằng Duy nó trốn.
They're late to the plays. They're not playing towards the strong side of the map. And even though we did say, hey, play towards Gala, try and get that Lucian ahead. If you look over on the top side of the
Bảo
map,
sao thằng Duy nó trốn nó đéo làm.
Crushing this matchup right here. So I would say, hey, if it's not working out towards the bottom of the map, Nico very slippery, Kalista very slippery, Tristana very slippery, hard to catch. If you're a Rel, play towards the top side, maybe try for a dive onto ZDZ. There have been chances where ZDZ has been pretty low, and even though like Asante, it's still doable. Try to get your Renekton ahead and then use the power of the Renekton to play towards the neutral objectives to then funnel gold into your Lucian. Look at these trades. Zika has been smashing it.
He's having a lot of good presence up there. Now Hagen gonna roam his way up as well. Not level 6 yet. That gonna be going through from Zika, but that also brings in a conversation that I love to highlight for LPL playoffs, because we are literally back to back to back to back. It ain't no stopping. So a little bit of momentum goes a long way. And yes, it went all the way to 5 for Weibo. You got to stress test yourself a little bit. And maybe that leads to some of these strengths in the early parts of this best of 5 here.
Hey, you know what I call that? Official practice. It's better than scrims. Why play 3 official games when you can play 5 and juice out all the information that you can about your own gameplay, about your opponent's gameplay, etc., etc. Now Scout is looking at Shaku.
Ooh, flash out, buster shot there. He's gonna have a rocket jump available. Gets over to safety. Scout doesn't have any way into the fight now, and Hunk's gonna have to flash. Pop Blossom flash into on a Weiwei. That is also the Tangle Barb. There are so many lockdown potentials from Weibo. They force so many flashes from LNG.
Absolutely. Shaku and Crisp lost their own ones as well. Again, Crisp using that clone from Nico to tank the culling, and huge fight up on the top side of the map. They really want to deny the 5 Void Grab buff from LNG. ZDZ so far away, no TP. One already gone.
They just need to get one of these potentially here. If they can sneak in. Xiaohao's going to get bubbled up here now. Cleanse actually from Gala too. Xiaohu is looking to jump in. They do end up getting in here in time to deny that 5th stack of the grubs.
That was crazy. ZDZ walked all the way from the bot side of the map.
Long distance travel.
Absolutely, literally, he's committed to this relationship, okay? He traveled all the way from that bot lane tower just so he can make
Weibo
sure
này
he's
chúa tể
there
cụt
for
tay,
the long
đéo bao giờ
run
ra
to
tài
take
kill
that
được luôn.
second void grab to deny the buff off of LNG.
Chỉ có thể tài tham,
LNG are
chỉ thể tài tham và xỉu kill.
trying to get advantages onto the map, but as you will see, Weibo have the answer. Scout, see Shaku, throws him towards his team, great. But that was a lovely flash coming out from Shaku to get out of the CC from Rel, throws out Scout, which means the damage does not land from Azir because she's not there, and then just rocket jumps his way out of dodge. Flash force from Nami as well, because Crisp was there onto the Nico ult, and again, Weibo Gaming are just running away with everything. LNG can just not seem to land a single kill, a single opportunity.
Xiaohu has taken so much pressure this game. It is insane. And he's able to just utilize a lot of the resets that you can have, manipulating that explosive charge to get a double rocket jump, things like that. It is going to be so big for Weibo to kind of push around these fights like that. Because LNG, they really want like a front to back, a big shove from Scout, a big engage from Weiwei, maybe a little bit of a flank action from Zika. But they're going to have to try to put that together now, especially with about 45 seconds till another dragon for Weibo. It would be 2 in a row for them.
I feel like I just want to see LNG, all 5 members, on the same screen. There's a bunch of times where Scout, you know, he's trying to shove Shaku into his team. Zika is fighting ZDZ on a different place on the map and then TPs into team fight. LNG are good at team fighting. They shine when Gala is able to put down the damage for them. Therefore, set up for him, facilitate for him, be all 5 members on the same damn screen. Xiaohu found out.
Ooh, he has a lot of damage to put in. He doesn't even have his first item yet. That buster shot's going to get that trade down for Xiaohu's favor. He is going to push this wave in. He still has TP available. Scout's no doubt going to have to burn his now.
Absolutely, that is a TP down from another pressure point coming in from Xiaohu. Gala.
Ooh, wait. That's the Nature's Grass coming out as well. They're gonna tag onto Weiwei. Ooh, double bubble. You're boiling in trouble there. Pop Blossom from Chris, though, is gonna lock down Weiwei, and Light rends his life from him. Zika is here, gets caught by the Tango Bomb. Oh no, there's an avalanche coming with you, and he's got 2 in Tofu's. That's double kill for Light. Make it more here with a trade back from
LNG đánh này chết.
Kick down Xiaohao, but the pressure is there, and Weibo look to press under the turret.
They're gonna take a few more tower plates right here. There's 2 members running from base. They're looking for Zika, but diving right now or Renekton when you know that Azir is already on the rotation would be absolutely catastrophical for Weibo Gaming after winning such a fight right here. And they're gonna press their reset buttons, run straight towards that dragon. You see Xiaohao died in this exchange, so he's gonna be running straight towards that dragon. And ZDZ, even though he did press his B button trying to reset, he's gonna stick around trying to go for that dragon contest.
Get a TP from Xiaohu. He'll take a lot of damage on the way out, but he'll go towards top side of the map to his split pushing desires. We also have first items fully completed for a majority of members here at least. Xiaohu's going to be close, I'm sure, after he gets all the gold up there. But we did get the Yumu's first item for Light, as well as the Static Shift first item for Gala.
Now, this is a little questionable right here from LNG, because they know the Renekton is on the tops of the map, and we said how powerful of a tool it is to have the Renekton in these team fights. Weibo know that Zika is stuck towards the top side of the map. However, they do not want to be taking any chances because the river has not necessarily been set up for them. They do not have any resources onto the Kalista either. There is no flash, there is no heal for Light, so they don't want to be running into a 50-50 on whether they can win this team fight or not. Again, I just want to give huge props to Crisp. I think he's had so far an incredible series. The space he's able to buy both with Ashe and Nico. I just wanted to look at this particular fight because Gala sees an opening. He'll go in. He's done most of the culling onto Gala, and Crisp again uses the clone to absorb majority of it. And the second the double bubble lands, Crisp knows his job. Instantly presses R, splits apart Hang and Gala from their jungler, and Weiwei ends up going down. And the second the TP lands from Zika, he roots him as well. Like,
yeah,
I cannot stress enough how much of a banger for series Crisp has been having so far, and it's only 1.5 games.
And he realizes that he has enough space with that Pop Blossom to force Gala to literally do nothing if he doesn't have a culling up. That lack of range that LNG have is starting to bite them a little bit. Scout take the ire of ZDZ here.
Number 17.
It does have to use that shifting sands out of there. Not going to have to burn anything else just yet. But we're looking at top side of the map because Rift Herald is on the table here.
And look at the TPs. ZDZ does not have his Scout, doesn't either. This is very dangerous for Scout right here because Ghost is coming up really soon from ZDZ. And ZDZ is looking at the magic number 17 to add to his solo kills. Hank takes a huge jump.
Weiwei's in a lot of trouble. Xiaohu looking for the angle here. Nature's Graph going to connect in the end. No explosive charge on him as it went on to Hung.
He goes
ZDZ.
in.
He wants to get some more of those solo kills you were talking about. Can't get the unstoppable combo, and he might just die. That's why Scout is the Emperor on Azir.
Number 17 you were looking for, ZDZ. Have you met
Thằng ốc
Scout
chó
Azir
Zika
yet?
lại thêm thằng ngu rừng này nữa.
Nice combo, tidal wave on the way out though. Nice magnet storm. Xiaohu gets bubbled as well. Ren's not gonna be enough. Neither is the explosive charge, but Xiaohu wants it with the buster shot, and there he gets it. Now Zika has found a flank onto Xiaohu. Xiaohu's trying to rocket jump his way out of that one, and LNG left wanting.
Thằng ốc chó rừng này đánh cái gì?
But couldn't capitalize.
Yeah,
Weiwei điệp cụ mày đánh cái gì?
There is no much mana or HP onto Xiaohu or Light, so they cannot contest walking up into this river. So it might, after all, be LNG taking
Cứ thế thôi, đánh
that top
cứ
side
thế thôi.
Rift Herald. Again, a huge mess when it comes to team fights between those teams. You see how hard they both love fighting for these neutral objectives. And yet again, I feel like Weibo Gaming have come out on top, getting yet another kill. Xiaohu, we criticized him. Both him and Scout, they've not had great series. But look at Scout. Let's start with him. Because ZDZ, we said, his ghost is almost up. He's looking for his 17th solo kill. And Scout slams the door straight in his face. And jumping from one mid laner to another. What's Yahoo in this particular series? Very great ultimate right here from Chris. Tramping way in place. And you'll see that bone plating does wonders right here for Yahoo. Because he tanks almost the entirety of the culling. Flashes in to ult the Rel. And then just rocket jumps himself out with the help of a few plants.
A little thing I noticed in that Azir trade as well.
Hello anh em mới vào nha. Không bình luận mấy, chỉ ngồi chém gió với anh em tí thôi. Anh em chém gió thì chat lên nhé. Vào khấn kèo các kiểu. Cái tài ba tham, tài tham 32 đang rất sáng. Địt mẹ với thằng top lại chết kìa. Cái tài tham 32 đang cực sáng nha anh em ơi.
Desperately 1v1 Scout, and it's just not going in his favor. 2 solo kills right now for Scout, and we said how he was set behind in game 1, and he was still all over the place for LNG. He was still the saving grace, and right here he's banked 2 kills from 0 from ZDZ. That is very big for LNG when it comes to team fights. This Azir will be huge.
And we were talking a little bit about what's going to need to be banned by LNG, but that Azir maybe starting to rear its ugly head here. We will see Weibo actually trying to make a play onto Zika in the side lane. Xiaohu is going to tank the turret, does stutter step his way out, and that's an easy juggle there. A little healing from Zika, but the rocket jump will help Xiaohu get out to safety.
And they get another one onto Xiaohu, onto this Tristana.
Oh, wait. I don't think, the Rel is going to find it, and an auto attack from Crisp is the one that gets it. Xiaohao just mind controls Weiwei a little bit.
Absolutely. Get in, get out of dodge. The second you see Scout coming in, Scout almost with an hourglass in his inventory. He's going to be absolutely invincible when he dives in.
Mẹ bằng cách thần kỳ nó solo kill được thằng này vậy. À, nó lao vào trụ.
Okay, well,
Lô Lộc Nguyễn nhá. Địt mẹ nó lao vào trụ và bảo sao solo kill ở vãi lồn ngáo ạ. Chơi game ngáo vãi lồn mà. Rồi Sở Cao lại đi rồi. Sở Cao lại đi rồi. Địt mẹ liệu có dự. Ui. Sở Cao nó xanh rồi. Ui. Địt mẹ mà Sở Cao nó xanh rồi anh em ơi. Tầm này bọn Weibo khó win thật sự ấy. CS cháy quá, ok. Này sọp nó đánh support tìm sao mà gam win được.
Why he's the best to do it on the champion, and LNG just took a game to wake up into this series, it seems. Able to punch back a little bit to Weibo. Now we're getting to the strengths that LNG and before
thầy Duy hôm nay ốm anh em ơi, thầy cũng ốm nhưng mà thầy lên chém gió tí. Ulti vội nhỉ.
So a couple big ultis, but it is going to be a dragon point and center with an even dragon state.
And here's the difficulty now. With the Azir being fed, as we look at the replay as well, to show you why this Azir is mega fed, Shaku's gonna literally TP in his face.
Địt mẹ sọp nó sọc chết thằng Xiaohu luôn. À, Scout chứ nhỉ.
Scout shoves him away. The heal is also used from Light, and it's just not going to be quite enough. And then at the end of all this exchange, he almost kills Light as well. That was a 1 versus 4 with 2 of the strongest members of Weibo Gaming literally beating Scout. And he still gets out with 1 kill. Now the problem is, Light onto the Kalista, an extremely short range AD carry that loves playing when his team creates space around him. And you do have the Nico, the Cassandra, and the Malka to create space for you. However, the Sun Soldiers do not make it easy at all for this Kalista to walk forward. The second you walk forward, you get instantly poked by Azir. You have to go back to base. That's a 4 versus 5. So Scout right here, the second he starts poking down those HP bars, LNG will have so much freedom walking in for a fight.
And Light needing to go with a little bit of defensive posture as well with the Edge of Night, just to try to safety from any errant, I guess, skill shots. But this is Weibo returning to something they know very well, and that's split pushing power, bringing Xiaohu into the side lane to try to take one. This will be their first turret of the game, so finally returning to something they know very well. But it means that there is a lot of standing gold, even with this small lead for LNG still on the map for Weibo. They do end up burning objectives very quickly here, with Scout having that second item, about 2.5, but they were looking on top side.
And it's also pretty huge that they did get the 2 towers mid lane, right? That means that Weibo Gaming have a lot of scouting in the jungle to do before they even get anywhere near this Baron. Now they are pulling the trigger. Zika does have teleport to join his team.
Bà giòn rất nhanh nha, Scout rất xanh nha. Mẹ ăn nhanh thế này thì có cướp được bà giòn không? Và cướp bà giòn rồi. Cướp bà giòn nhưng mà ZDZ thì chắc chắn phải nằm xuống thôi. Nhưng mà chắc chắn là lãi thằng WBG Gaming. Tình huống solo trừng phạt không thành công đến từ óc chó quay đi rừng. Siêu tạ. Siêu tạ tấn nhưng mà chắc chắn là tài tham đú rồi anh em ạ.
In game number 1, and that is huge news for Weibo Gaming. You commented on it as well. They love playing the 1-3-1. They love playing split push with Xiaohu on the side lane, having Baron up creeps, being able to beat these towers down. So much standing gold for Weibo Gaming. The game is dead even. You get a Baron, you get to stall to get the game state in a way that you want to play it, and Weibo Gaming really needed that breather.
And it's awesome to see kind of some of the underlying currents for Weibo stay true, that side lane pressuring. But Xiaohu, he's had 100% KP right now. He's had 90% plus in all of playoffs so far, 96 in the last game. He is everywhere, and he is the engine that helps facilitate this Wonder Start team.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And on the Maokai back to back. And here we see why he's going to throw in the ultimate. And he's just waiting around on the side. Flashes into the pit, smacks Baron on the back end and smites it and gets out. What a Giga Chat move right there from Xiaohu. Sealing the Baron away. I mean, it's just revenge, right? Weiwei stole his Baron in game number 1. And, well, I guess it's not a good omen, is it? Weiwei stole the Baron, but ended up losing.
And then they lost. Yeah. And then, don't read that far into it. It's fine. Let's just look at the surface level. Results-based analysis. Don't go too deep. But it is something to think about where LNG, their composition does rely on a lot of item spikes and things like that. I think Zika will have a lot of really good entrances in the backline. My biggest thing is Gala has to find entrances. One of the things I love about the LPL is our Lucians hit different. They can find big moments even in late game, where in a lot of other regions we see failings past that 30-minute mark. Gala has to be that guy this time around, and that third item spike that's right on the horizon, that'll be a moment of that pressure.
Sure, but I'm getting a little bit concerned, you know. I've seen Ruler solution and what he can do, and usually you want a very dominant or even lane phase translating into that mid game where you put that Lucian
Weibo dáng win móc 2 à? Ok, Ninh Phạm đi Weibo à? Ok, thế để thầy khấn Weibo nhá. Mẹ, nãy giờ đang cổ vũ LNG.
You could end up going down, and this has been a little bit of a blocker. And this is the problem again with like very short range lane carries, like the Lucian and like the Kalista. They are going to struggle when you have a lot of setup and a lot of poke in your team. Scout.
Oh! Who's gonna get it? Xiaohu flashes into the bush. Scout goes golden. He's gonna go for it. He gets the Scout with the cool guy.
Sao lại nhảy? Sao lại không bắn thường nhỉ? Sao lại nhảy nhỉ? Sao lại không bắn thường một cái lại nhảy lên làm cái gì nhỉ? Ôi cái địt con mẹ nhà mày bịp vãi cả lồn. Sao lại thế nhỉ? Bắn thường cái là chết con mẹ nó rồi. What the fuck? Xử lý ngu vãi lồn.
Xiaohu playing at the edge of his champ, but Scout just gets the better of him. Now they have advantage here, even with Xiaohu not there. Weibo are going to try to advance into this one. They don't need to fight for this. They could just give it over to LNG. Looks like that might be the decision in the end, because LNG have a lot of strength in the 5-man. You see he's stepping up.
Tài 25. Ok, Hacking ơi. Bắn. Ui. Ui. Địt mẹ mày. Quay. Crips. Cá sấu. ZDZ. Zika. Quay vẫn chạy. Quay vẫn đang chạy như một con chó và địt mẹ anh chạy lên quận. Một đường chạy duy nhất của anh đấy là chạy xuống âm phủ mà thôi. Trận đấu địt mẹ mày rơi khỏi tay của cầu thủ LNG quá nhanh. Linh ơi, kẻo Linh sáng thật sự luôn. ZDZ.
This teamfight win is gonna net them 3 towers on the map, the entirety of mid lane, bot lane, and top
không giết được
at
một
the
ai
same time
đi
in
mẹ.
one teamfight. You lose one
Kèo tài 25 hơi khó nha.
It was literally 4 towers to 2 to 1 rather, and then 2, and then now it's 6 to 4. As we see the 1v1 of the side, Scout getting the better of Xiaohu.
Đây này. Quả này chỉ cần bắn thường một cái là xong rồi lại nhảy ạ. Mẹ mày đúng là trò đùa.
And look at this here, Xiaohao on the flank, trying to catch them going through that choke point in the tri-bush, and they're waiting for Xiaohu's TP to come back up. And look at ZDZ landing that Q3 of 3 members straight into that Nico ult. And what's Chris, because he walks forward, he knows Renekton is on the side. So if you walk forward, pin down Scout, they instantly go gold into that hourglass. And another incredible Q3 coming out of ZDZ. Pushing Scout straight into his death. What a phenomenal team fight from Weibo Gaming. Their coordination is impeccable this series.
The fact that Nature's Grasp connected onto both Weiwei and Scout, that Scout burns his flash, that he doesn't have literally anything after that. I feel so good to burn these cooldowns from Weibo, and they're dictating a lot of the fight pressure here so far. Doesn't mean that LNG are out of the fight. Again, their 5v5 is huge. Scout is a monster, but he's got to have the pivotal performance here.
That is a 6,000 gold lead accumulated for this.
Tài tham 32 bú chưa?
A bunch of items in their inventory that hurt really hard. I feel like the key moment are here for LNG is having Zika pinned down light onto this Kalista so they can play the teamfight a little bit more freely.
They need to choose. They need to do something. Weibo are just going to burn the Baron. Now the engage from Weiwei goes wide. This is ripe for the picking for Weibo as LNG find themselves on the wrong side of the tracks. The bubble connects, but actually in the end it does not. And it looks like LNG might need to find an exit plan here. I wonder where their nearest exit is. It looks like it's through topside.
Honestly, I commend here Weibo Gaming for their patience. You definitely do not want to be following into fog of war that Renekton can turn on you real quickly and you'll end up losing members, and especially
Tài tham 32 bú chặt rồi anh em ơi.
You see a lot of the items coming through, the redemption, the third item coming in from the Maka as well, which is going to be around ruins. So they did have huge item spikes that you definitely do not want to be giving away all the gold accumulated from these fights that Weibo Gaming have been putting immaculaately onto the Rift. And now Weibo Gaming with a foot forward, they have the Baron, they have the split push as well with ZDZ, with Shaco on the bot side of the map, ZDZ on the top, and a very, very strong 3-man core in the likes of Nico, Kalista, and Mako that can push mid lane. Weibo, again, I don't understand. Weibo have just woken up for playoffs.
They have. Again, they were one of the slowest teams in the league coming into it. You know, post 15 minutes, between that 25 and 30-minute mark was really where we were seeing them turning on. But here they have learned a little bit from their previous opponent. They've turned on the heat, and they are not stopping the cooking. Because they have a 4-0 Light, they have a 4-2 Xiaohu, and now they're looking for Gala in mid lane. But they have 4 item spikes, and that's almost a full item over majority carries for LNG.
Very well said. And it's not very easy to push into them as well. You'll see that they're trying to take advantage of pressuring down the waves and trying to crash them at the same exact time. However, it wasn't the case of this time around. Oh, you see Scout and Zeke have a TP in the backline.
Oh, Gala! He almost just dies outright. Now Scout.
Ui rồi ôi, hất cái gì đây?
Get the pop blossom on Scout, but he's gonna go golden. That's a really good.
Hay này.
ZDZ ZDZ though. ZDZ wants Gala. Look how fast he is. And now Weibo, they take that engage. They're turning it right back on LNG. And LNG look like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. They're running around. They do get the culling back into Xiaohao. But here comes Xiaohu. He wanted Gala. He can't get him. He can't get his old ADC, but he can take down Zika. And Light rends the life from the crocodile. And now Weibo are on to the dragon pit and TPing behind it Xiaohu. Oh, I don't know if he actually has the angle though. Gala trying to go over the other side. Oh my goodness. Explosions happen and a fish gets served up for sushi dinner. Now Light has found him and he gets the stop on the Scout. Scout wants the damage, but he doesn't have it. Weibo have picked apart LNG. They've taken everybody but Gala, and now they're looking at the base.
They do not care about your Azir. They do not care about your 3 solo kills because Weibo Gaming's team fights is just that much better.
I can't believe it. No way. They just win off of this as well. They still have the minions here. Okay, ZDZ's taking a brunt of damage, but Xiaohu cleans him up. Oh my goodness. One fell swoop, one giant leap, and Weibo, they're on the cusp of going 2-0 up for the second time in a row. And here we go. It's match point for Weibo Gaming.
Đéo giết được ai, khó hài lòng quá.
To seal the deal as well in this series, and Scout, he does not look happy. He does not look happy. He has
thằng
such
Cao ngu vãi lồn
back on the Azir game 1 and game 2, and it's just no clicking LNG. I feel like LNG really need an intervention.
Tài tham 32 win em. Bao nhiêu đây? 30 mấy phút đây. Tài tham 33 thì win rồi em. Tài tham 33 win nhá. 3332 đều win. Kéo thầy cho uy tín nhá. Kéo thầy cho uy tín nhá. Tài 32 bú.
Incredible performance against his previous organization. He has had Gala's number in every game so far, it feels like, but also Xiaohao showing that he means business, not only leveling up in playoffs, but against Weibo's previous jungler in Weiwei. It's looking real good. Also, I'm pretty sure he had 100% KP again. We'll check it on the other side of a break. We'll be back with game number 3 of this series.
Anh em nghỉ ngơi tí, móc 2 anh em nhá. Móc 3 quên, móc 3. Cầm nước tí.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LPL Spring Playoffs. We're here in round number 2, and we have 2 quick punches from Weibo here against LNG to start it off, Trouble.
I mean, Weibo Gaming are just doing everything right. In game number 1, they started with heavy lane pressure. They had counterpicked every single lane. Their Maokai everywhere. Game number 2, again, pressure in almost every single lane. They used that for side lane advantage. They won every single team fight. I'm so happy that Chris got MVP of this game because he has been absolutely phenomenal in both of these series. The space he's been buying his team with the Nico, with the Ashe in game number 1 has been impeccable. Love the flash E here that's coming onto hand because he knows his jungler is wrapping around. And Xiaohao here, he doesn't even have to burn a summoner to get onto the Nami. The amount of times that he's used his clone to absorb the culling from Gala, not allowing him to do any damage towards his team. Like, Chris has been absolutely world champ material.
Hey, he's that for a reason. I think a lot of the engages set up so many things for him, but it was also a pick you highlighted you wanted to see from this guy because of the setup angles you can have, and that has been the strength of Chris so far. Yes, he is known for some enchanter play, but man, when he's on engages, it's a completely different guy, and I need to see that continue if Weibo wanted to go ahead and take a sweep, but we got to take brass tacks conversation about LNG because things are not working. Again, for a second game in a row, the Azir is not the problem, but they just can't make it stick. And at this point, you might just have to find something else that works.
I just feel like at the very, very beginning, we highlighted how pivotal Gala's damage is for LNG. This guy has 30% of his team's damage share. And in both game 1 and 2, he has been kind of choked down more heavily in game number 1 than in game number 2. But we said, hey, if you're going to pick Lucian and you're not going to stomp your lane, then you're kind of going to fall off towards the later stages of the game. And it's kind of what happened. And my biggest regret here, my biggest why, if you will, is Weiwei. I don't remember the guy in the entire series, Mazel. I don't remember him in game number 1. I don't remember him in game number 2. I don't know where he was.
He's got to find a way to make his entrance known here. It's you know, not too shabby coming off being a world's finalist jungler. Obviously having fallen to T1, but still nonetheless a big moment for him. And now trying to find his way on a new team and make this work with one of the most legendary mid laners, and that duo is just not cohesing yet. Now, we did see Weibo in a similar position just a few days ago against IG. They went up very strongly 2-0 in the series, and then IG punched back with the help of Loyen all the way to 5 games. I'm not saying this could be the same story, but Weibo have had a history of trying to close out series and it not going their way.
Absolutely. I think the bells are going to be ringing right now like, hey guys, we're 2-0, we're 2-0, and it went to 5. We can't let this happen again right here. I feel like for LNG, you should take that Maokai away. There's no way you're going to allow the Maokai to go over for a 3rd time. I'm expecting if they don't want to go over to the red side and try to play for counter picks and try to play for better lane matchups, at least take that B1 Maokai and play through that. And I'm going to say something that is completely and utterly illegal in terms of pairing it up with a Maokai, but I feel like Scout needs to jump onto something that makes him a little bit more proactive on the map, like the Ahri. I think his Azir has been absolutely impeccable, but he hasn't necessarily been able to impact the map as much because he has always been going to sides trying to put out fires.
It's really difficult when Weibo again are the best team at side laning here in the playoffs, and you haven't found a real answer to that style of play where they're utilizing the strength they're getting inside lanes to collapse into team fights and getting ways to kind of pick your team fight apart, and that was the strength of LNG. So maybe an adaptation of style holistically. Weiwei not on a rel. We gotta see something change because we're in the part of playoffs where there's no Guardian Angel just yet. You're still links away from that, to be fair. And even in the second round, you lose here, your season is done until summer. You win, and you go on to a Titan in JDG. We're in LNG versus Weibo Gaming, game number 3. It is the Maokai Ashe Rumble ban by LNG on the blue side for a 3rd game, and the Vi Nautilus by Weibo.
And you know what I love? I love the fact that Weibo Gaming, now that they know that Zeri hasn't been banned, they're banning away that Nautilus. They're like, hey, if you're going to give us Zeri over, there's no Nautilus, there's no Vi. So I really hope for LNG's sake here that they do just straight up B1 the Zeri if they can.
God, what is that camera? I love it. Just zoom into the eyes of the killer. He's right there. He needs to have a big moment. 30% of his damage done when he was coming into this one for his team. It is the Tristana locked in for LNG, so a takeaway, but also some flexibility.
I'm thinking this is Zeri gaming. This is Zeri gaming for sure for Light and Crisp. Especially since Ashe has been banned and they can't play that towards the bot side of the map. I'm loving the Tristana takeaway right here from Shahu because they can also flex it between Shahu and Light. So it takes that away. However, we did ask for a pick for Scout that's a little bit more dominant in terms of the map and not necessarily just putting out fires. Tristana does that. Ari does that. I'm more than happy to see the Tristana locked in here for Scout.
We said before, tree equals happy. No tree equals sad for Weibo, but they're going to have to find a world where they do find a happiness without the tree. See what they get for Xiaohao here. Right now, it'll be the Talia. This is another pick we highlighted coming into the series that has the very big synergy with the way that Xiaohu wants to play the game, right? You push, you move, you get to side lanes.
You get to set up a lot of these fights as well, and I feel like Xiaohu has been an impeccable Talia when it comes to these neutral objectives. The way he places his walls around the team fights has been great, and it is going to be actually Scout onto the Tristana solution Nami for both sides of the map. Now let's see what they're going to choose to put next to the Varus later on. I mean, I was about to say, if it's not the Maokai, it's going to be the Setsuani. If it's not the Maokai or not the Setsuani, it's going to be the Senzao. So we're sticking to the facilitating champions. We talked like earlier on for these two junglers as well. They need to be on champions that they set up fights for their teams. And now that Maokai is out of the question, I feel like Setsuani is a great tool in Xiaohao's hands. You have a non-committal engage in terms of your ultimate as well. If it hits, perfect. You go in. If it doesn't, you just pull out.
And you have such quick decision-making power with this Sejuani into a very squishy composition in a double marksman comp. And also you have a Talia into a comp that has a lot of movement stuff. And that works ground is going to be really interesting. As we get into the second phase, though, we have to look at some of those jungle bans, and it is already that Ivern that we had seen in solo queue for Weiwei taken away.
That's absolutely spicy here with double AD carry banning the Ivern away. He's very clever. We have seen Mad Koi over the LEC really favor the Ivern as well, especially when they play a double marksman composition. Now, what do you pair up with the Varus? Because I was about to say, Nico is not going to be left up for Crisp. However, Renata works great when you're playing against a double marksman composition because you hit one of the two, you just let them do the work instead of you.
You also get the Renekton final ban for Weibo. Take away some of that blind ability for Zika. Also something he found a lot of comfort on and a lot of backline access to. Not going to give that to him for a third game in a row. Now the final ban here has to be towards some of these potential setups for Weibo. Again, maybe an engager taken away. No, it's the ZDZTF.
Wow. I think like, ooh, love the Lulu right here. I was about to say Lulu, Renata, any of the two is great. Where is the Zeri, man? That was perfect game for Zeri. Anyway, Varus is also really great right here. Now, let's see. I feel like Zika's gonna have to probably resort onto a tank, something like the Cassante or the Udyr. Third case scenario is also potentially something like the Aatrox. You need frontline if you're LNG right here. You need frontline really bad because you have double marksman and you need to be able to force these front to backs to allow space for your two AD carries to play the fights.
At the line, Cassante going to be the lock-in here. Also, just a note for the Lulu for Crisp. The last time we saw him against IG when he played that, he was getting some insane wild growth combos with the knockups, being very aggressive with it. And I want to see if he continues that path or if he's going to play a little bit more defensively. Now, there is still a big option on the table, and it is the brand for Weiwei. So he'll have a lot of onus on how this game goes for LNG. And there's that Zeri.
Wait.
So we got a little spice as ZDZ is going to be taking the Varus to top lane.
Hold on, is this Merwin from Mad Koi coming into the LPL? We have seen this monstrosity of a champion on the top side of the map. You build towards that Jack show as well. You're basically, Mad Koi was talking about it, you basically play frontline with the Varus. And I'm so happy this ends up being the Zeri because Zeri Lulu is such a great duo into Lucian and Nami. It's one of the only few duos that actually goes toe-to-toe with the presence, with the aggression of Lucian over in the early game. Weibo Gaming, their drafts on red side have been so great in terms of countering and capitalizing on what LNG want to do with their drafts. Now here, LNG have a very simple task. Get that brand fed. You have so much priority through your mid lane with Tristana, which means that you're not very easily going to get invaded. So the more farm you have onto this brand, the more damage you can dish out in the fights later on.
And you have to remember, Weiwei has been on the rel multiple games, has not had the brightest of moments. A couple steals here or there, but some really rough ones on the rel. So now taking a lot more of that pressure on his shoulders in a pivotal game. To go back and harken on the fact that this could be the final game we see of LNG until summer if they lose here. Weibo on a steamroll after taking a full 5-game series against IG. Momentum is key, and here we go. LNG on the cusp of being knocked out. Let's see if they can bring it back from the brink. Weibo flag flying high, the LNG flag flying high. Love those camera shots, love seeing all the crowd out there. But we get a little throwback to IG there. He was spamming this one as well against IG earlier in the tournament. But ZDZ on the Varus, this is something we have to talk about. It will be very difficult for Zika in the side lane. It does present a little bit more of a squishy comp for Weibo, but my God, if this composition gets ahead, it's going to be so deadly.
Absolutely oppressive. There is so much damage coming through from the Varus, the Taliyah, the Zeri, backed up by a Lulu. It feels like Weibo Gaming really shine when they have a composition pretty much curated out of damage dealers. And Xiaohao is the facilitator. He's the engage, the disengage, the peel. He's the albeit when it comes to team fighting and setup. He does it for his team, and he allows the rest of the members to carry them forward. Now for LNG, I'm really glad they pivoted off of the Azir and off of the Rel. I feel like Weiwei playing a little bit more of a carry / farming oriented champion in the likes of Brand. He has played it before, and I paired up with Scout's Tristana. This is the time that Scout can actually shine, because you have so much push over in the mid lane with the Tristana that you can actually start to be influencing all the side lanes later on.
Scout gets some really hefty trades on Xiaohu early on there. Again, Scout, a guy who earned double MVPs this last year. Ooh, actually, you can't even talk about that because Xiaohao has done what brands hate and gone for the engage. Also a flash burn by Weiwei, and nice little double rev his thumbs up as Xiaohao goes to clear his wolf.
Xiaohao has had Weiwei's number in every single game so far. Scout continues to get pretty hefty trades onto Xiaohu. And I love how Xiaohao pretty much doubled down on invading, because I said, hey, you've got Tristana mid lane. There's no way in heck you're getting invaded. There's no way. You're just gonna pretty much bounce your Tristana into the jungle. You're gonna have a 1v2 advantage. But Scout actually went towards the both side of the map, tried to clear a ward in the Wraith's pit, in the Raptor's pit, sorry. And his jungle ended up getting invaded on his Wraiths and Raptors and chickens and popcorn. I don't know.
Chicky nuggies, I call them.
Yeah.
Get filled up. Everybody needs a good protein snack, I feel like. Speaking of, I feel as Xiaohao has had his fill already. As I think an interest will be how ZDZ utilizes this Varus to kind of counteract maybe some of that pressure that Xiaohao's using, or I guess not counteract, but enforce. And we see that he's already winning out in terms of the pressure in the lane. Weiwei's looking bot side, though.
Ooh, really nice trade right there from Weibo Gaming's bot lane. Weiwei is waiting on the side because he knows Setsuani is going to be hovering towards that bot side of the map. Skullcrab taken from Xiaohao. Now they're going to meet in the river, so he knows there is presence from that Setsuani towards the bot side. But you see Lighthouse is hovering the wall. At any point in time, he can just jump the wall and he'll be free. Oh,
Scout going for it here. He does have the explosive charge. One more auto. No, it's not enough. Oh, these two mid laners wanted so bad trouble, and it gets so close.
Oh, I feel like Scout really wants to get his team ahead. Scout has been literally tooth and nail fighting to push LNG past the finish line, and right now he does have a champion that he can impact earlier on. We said it straight off the get-go in the draft that this Tristana needs to have impact early on, needs to have priority, and he has done just that. 15 CS above his counterpart right here in Xiaohu. And Scout, I feel like he has been doing great this entire series, and I feel like this game really relies on him.
It's crazy to me that he's leveled up so much in this series. He's literally been like Super Saiyan mode every single game on the Azir, but he just can't pull it together with his team. Now he's just like, I am tired of this. I'm going to press every single moment that I'm just going to punch you in the face, and he's done so far. They have to find a way to hone that pressure, though, as we see objectives spawning on the map. We have the grubbies on the top side. Very big if Weiwei can get that one because of the speed that you can take it with the brand.
However, if you look at top lane, Varus lane Kingdom, Xiaohu was able to also push in that wave, which means that there is a lot of control from the side of Weibo Gaming towards that top side. There's going to be double Scuttle Crab from Xiaohao as well. And again, playing against the farming champion, being already CS up, a level up, and having the freedom to do void grubs here is going to be huge. But Scout's just going to walk in.
Dude, Scout is a single-handed menace here. Now Weiwei had path towards this control ward over here. Does get the CC onto Xiaohu, and will take down that ward, but kind of giving up the pressure on top side, even though Scout pushes Xiaohao off of the grubbies. We wonder if they just go right back to it.
Just a little bit of a chat about the Varus. I had to research, actually, because the only Varus that I've seen recently... as Scout gets ganked right here. Nice jump. Very nice jump away. Is Merwin. He played it versus Fnatic from McCoy. And his build was Experimental Hexblade, Raids Blade, Blade of the Ruin King, and Dak Show. And then when McCoy spoke about that Varus, they were like, hey, we can use that type of Varus as a tank in the front line. So it's sort of like doubles up a little bit as a Sejuani as well. You know, you've got the non-committal engage with the ultimate like Sejuani, and then you can play a little bit of frontline as well as light. Ooh, nice
little sidestep. I like it. It's also funny to me that, you know, Xiaohao was just confident with the Sejuani and what it can do into a brand. They didn't need the melee solo laners. They just went with double range. They just have the strength in their own right. And even though something went a little bit awry for LNG and bot side, it's still Weiwei trying to be proactive. He will reset and go towards the top side of the map. Again, leaning towards these grubs, which I think is important for LNG.
It's just a little bit of a rocky situation right here, because that Sejuani is already 60 CS
yeah,
up.
It's insane.
And usually when you're looking at things like void grabs and neutral objectives, when a jungler will spend time to do these neutral objectives and the other jungler farms, you're going to fall behind in terms of experience. But right here, because the Sejuani is ahead in the farm, you actually have the chance to spend to go and take these void grabs, especially when you've got double split push with the likes of the Talia, with the likes of a Varus in the side lane. You know, this Varus, the disease, already hammering onto this tower. It's so worth it to spend the time knowing that you're not necessarily gonna pay in terms of experience and gold to try and take all void grabs.
And Weibo know that's really the option they have for LNG right now, is to play towards the top side of the map. So they're just bringing Xiaohao and Xiaohu up here. Xiaohao's just going to start up that first episode of the Telegrubbies, and he'll be watching cartoons all on his lonesome. While Scout actually going for another trade on Xiaohu. It's starting to get a little bit more even in these trades.
Yeah, LNG could not walk up towards the top side of the map. You'll see that Weiwei was behind an entire camp. Now he just hits level 6. However, Xiaohao has already done one of the void grabs, so he at least gets max XP and gold from that one. And again, I feel like Hang has played such a pivotal part in terms of roaming towards the top side of the map to try and free Zika, to try and make plays with Weiwei and Scout. Of course, here is going to be a hover to make sure that Weiwei can make it into the pit to grab these void grabs.
Em vào LNG map này nhá.
And he's going to make his way all the way down.
Mẹ nhà mất nước khó chịu quá. Có nước nhanh bố còn tắm phát nào.
Now Crisp has roamed his way mid. They're going to press under turret, get a plate here too. Some nice utilization of the pressure movement. And now Xiaohao has path down towards this dragon.
But looking at Hang here, Hang is also like one level behind on Crisp.
Yeah.
So you do not have the tidal wave, which is really, really great tool to have, especially when people sort of get stuck on choke points. Talking about getting stuck on a choke point, Zika is stuck underneath his tower. Oh, the Tin of Corruption is going to miss. That means Varus does not have that tool. However, he does have 2 tower platings of gold in his pocket.
The most difficult part is just slowly losing out in the top side.
3K.
Yeah. He's going to have a big spend. He's got a lot of gold over, about 800 gold over Zika. We see the dragon being the main focus right now for Weibo. They will claim their first one about 9:30 into the game, so a little bit late on the stacking.
I'm getting a little worried because LNG are just bleeding slowly at this point. 500 gold lead only, sure, we cannot overreact. However, it is the first dragon when you have priority with Tristana made. Your brand has fallen behind previously, now of course ahead. But like Sejuani did double neutral objective right here, and Sejuani was about 2 to 3 times up onto his brand. Now coming back onto the map, you see how Xiaohao has his entire jungle if he chooses to go back to clear, but he's looking both sides.
He's got the Glacial Prison, gonna hit Hung. That's a frozen fish, gonna be served up for dinner later. That is first blood for Weibo yet again.
Ooh, I feel like Hang thought that if he flashed there, the flash was gonna be predicted, so it's the part where you say, I'm not gonna juke because they're gonna expect me to juke, so I'm gonna juke it like this. It wasn't the case for Hang. He doesn't burn his flash, ends up going down. That means a lot of pressure towards the bot side as well. More tar platings there. You see there's 2 missing from the top, there's 1 missing from me, there's 1 missing from bot lane, and slowly but surely this gold gap starts getting wider and wider for the side of Weibo Gaming. 1,000 gold in the lead right now. You'll see the swap Hang again towards the top side, trying to punish CDZ.
There is item spikes on the top side of the map as well. ZDZ has his Blade of the Rune King. Set up a nice dial from Xiaohao. Here comes the tidal wave with a little bit of the speed up. ZDZ is going to flash his way away. Chains of Corruption going to go wide there. And Xiaohao was hovering up towards this top side, but this is fine for Weibo. They want this kind of situation to play out for them. Scout's going to have to use the buffer on the rocket jump there. Gets out to safety. Xiaohao actually takes a huge trade into Weiwei, but they want this fight as the cooldowns go down. Scout comes over for the fight as Pyroclasm will be used. Might be able to get a little bit of damage back, but Light has joined the fight now, and Weiwei does not have a lot of health. He will get the buster shot at a Scout to save his life.
And Weibo are going to bunch up as a team. 4 members towards the top side of the map. They know that Hang and Gala swapped.
Oh, they're gonna get caught again. Oh,
cút rồi.
All the gold here early.
A little bit of a revenge kill right there on from ZDZ as Hang flashed onto him to gank him towards the top side of the map, and Weibo Gaming are just ahead of the play every single time. LNG's bot lane swaps towards the top. 4-man gank onto that top lane. They have not let Gala breathe, and they are not planning to. They're looking to dive.
No way. Oh, the Glacial Prison is up too. The TP is going to signal the retreat, though. Xiaohu saves the day here as well as maybe being able to get over here, I thought, with the Weaver's Wall, but he's actually going to pull away. And it's LNG that get their trigger pulled with the TPs.
That was double TP right there. That means Shaco gets free time to pressure that mid lane. That means ZDZ gets freedom to push down that bot lane. And they don't lose nothing but a support flash. That is very worth from Weibo Gaming. I feel like LNG are starting to make very, very desperate plays early on because they know that they need the solution to get ahead. They need Gala locked in.
Em ninh phẳng của thầy này về bờ chưa?
2 to 3 to 4 items onto the Zeri. I mean, come on. We've all seen Zeris. We've all seen them on the LPL as well. Way too many pentakills.
Trận LCK hay quá nhở?
Chắc
phải hết trận LCK anh em mới qua trận này.
Kind of works in its own right. Now LNG will also get 5 grubs. So at least being able to get the first might spawn there when they get some pressure onto the turrets, that's really big and could come up much later. But we also have to look at now Rift Herald spawning and another dragon if Weibo want to continue stacking those up.
Zika's going to walk towards that bot side of the map, especially as you mentioned, Dragon's coming up in 1 minute. You definitely want Zika there onto that front line. The bot lane is going to reset from the top side, try to get as many items as possible in these inventories. They definitely want to start stacking these dragons. You do have the Void Grubs, as you mentioned, the buff, but there are not many towers that are being hit from the side of LNG right now. I feel like the only one who can potentially reach a tower right here is going to be Scout on the side lane. So an extremely useful tool for that Tristana. I feel like LNG, without Scout in the team fights, have been looking so extremely lackluster, especially since Gala has not been able to find a footing this series.
And it's crazy that LNG find themselves on this precipice, right? Like, this is a round 2, Weibo using momentum from their first round into this one, but this is an LNG that felt like they were starting to bring it together. Yes, they were slow, but they were potent once the game got long, and especially Gala being a major factor of that. They ended up cleaning house on their last 5 series at the end of the regular season. So maybe taking some time to wake up into this series, but they've got to wake up now. The alarm clock's been going off for like the last 30 minutes, and they're about to be late for work.
I mean, it's already been 2 games, and now we're 50 minutes into the next one, and it doesn't seem that great yet because Weibo Gaming have had their reply to every single engage LNG have been able to put out. Now, Weiwei has already started the Rift Herald, but as you can see, ZDZ, no TP. So Weibo Gaming can just let this one go. They already took first tower on the map, and there's no one to reply that bot pressure that ZDZ has been building.
So much gold being given over to Weibo just passively here. Xiao, he's playing with their minds a little bit there. He will get bubbled, but Light gonna pop the lightning crash, and there's a little bit of a difference in when lightning hits a fish, and we see that right now as Weiwei actually getting a nice stun on Xiao, who's gonna flash away. Chris trying to delay Gala on the other side. He's doing so much damage. Xiao misses the engage with the Arctic Assault. Light's gonna go low with the explosive charge. Flash being burned by Xiao. LNG can chase. Scout was looking for the rocket jumps, but not gonna pull the trigger on that one. Rift Herald will be used though from Weiwei in mid lane.
And they do have the HP bars to pressure that mid lane. LNG coming out clutch right here, getting that Rift Herald hang is gonna go towards the bottom of the map where ZDZ has been putting so much pressure. If he does hit a bubble, they could kill him.
All right, the Unstoppable actually came through there. ZDZ locked up and taken out. Zika gets some revenge of his own.
Zika with the solo kill, almost. We're not going to mention that Nami was there. Onto ZDZ. But again, pressure in the mid lane from LNG did not result in a tower, but we mentioned how important was going to be that Void Grubs buff in terms of Scout on the Tristana on a side lane taking down towers. But Weibo Gaming once again are going to use the reset timers from LNG to sneak yet another neutral objective. Is going to be the Dragon this time around, and I'm starting to get worried myself. I'm starting to get worried. I see 2-0-1 on the Zeri. I'm seeing a Runan's completion very, very close. 16 minutes in, almost 2 items. You've got another AD carry up top lane. You've got AP damage coming through your Talia. You've got so much facilitation coming through your Setsuwani and Lulu, and that Lucian is just not taking off. And again, I wouldn't be so worried if I was like, hey, you know, get even out of lane. It's fine. And then he destroys an entire game just by being even. However, Gala in the previous game did not show any signs of that, and I'm starting to get worried.
They actually get the combo here. Xiao, he's getting the explosive charge. He's on. That's a flash. Scout's under turret. He's gonna go down here. No, the turret shot's not enough.
Địt mẹ LNG lật kèo này, thấy chưa anh em? Ui, tốc biến à, thằng này đi. Không, vẫn luôn còn trụ. LNG tôi bảo map này win là phải win, không thể thua được map này luôn.
Tristana with the kill, Lucian with the kill, get that Lucian ahead now. Crispin Light might be in danger. There's 4 members of LNG around. You have to be careful. If you get hit by a bubble, if you get hit by a brand stun, very squishy, gonna end up
thua thế đéo nào được cái map
này. Chris playing on the heads right here, trying to clear out any vision that LNG has on that side of the map. But great 2 picks from the side of LNG. They needed something to happen on the map, and they do catch Xiao and Xiao.
I'm going to take a look back at that replay as well, as it started off by Weiwei being able to find a nice trade onto Xiao, and Scout coming over the edge. He really wants to try to pick up some of these kills. You can see the desperation. It comes up clutch.
That was so much damage from the brand onto the Setsuwani. This is why this pick is like so prominent as well, because you don't expect the damage is coming out of it. An entire combo almost killed Setsuwani. Nice sidestep from Scout. Taking the flash off of ZDZ as well to get out alive. And that was great 2 picks. That 2 picks that were very, very needed. As you can see, Gala very, very reliably can dish out the damage right now. Has his second item. Got that rapid fire cannon, more range onto his poke, and Scout already hammering on towers. This is looking more and more promising for LNG.
They're using some of the medicine that Weibo usually gives by taking some side lane turrets, especially with those mites, helping Scout really buster down those turrets. As now we actually have LNG in transition to kind of hover over Scout on bottom side of the map, but you have to be careful in these kinds of moments because that's where Weibo's quick decision making and long distance engage can come in clutch. Look at that. It's a little bit of a drift, and it's Weiwei getting knocked right back into his death's grave.
Ooh, when we mentioned how pivotal it is to hit those Sejuani ultimates, you are the only engage coming out from Weibo Gaming, and right now without Weiwei, without the wave clear, Gala has already used his culling. They could end up taking down the tower.
I love it because Xiaohu at the beginning of the season was, I'm going to be the one to bring you to the mountaintop. Xiaohao is the one trying to bring him to the mountaintop. Now he's got to find a way to disengage from Zika here. It's going to be Crisp onto the flash out. Weaver's wall blocking the rest of LNG out. And look at that. Weibo as a team strong together.
Yep, he got absolutely lululed right there. Gala has to flash out of the knockup as well from Knight. They're playing on the edge. LNG wants this. They want to get back into this game, but Weibo are not letting go. They're not giving them any space. ZDZ with the constant pressure on the side lane. Second item, as we mentioned, Blade of the Ruin King, Rage Blade into tank is usually what you're going to see. Let's see how.
Oh goodness. That's
that was
that's a
great
little rough.
play.
Oh, CDZ, he's out ADC Scout on the Varus versus Tristana solo.
That was honestly such great display on why Fog of War saves lives, people.
Yeah.
That was one auto attack away from dying from ZDZ. That was that one auto attack that Scout missed with his E up onto ZDZ when he went into Fog of War inside that brush. So very, very well played from ZDZ. And there is your solo kill from ZDZ. Number 17, baby.
See, now actually they push into the outer tower mid, easily take that one here. As Weibo have finally cleaned up all of the outer towers from LNG. There is a dragon spawning in about 25 seconds, would be sole point for them if they want to keep priority in mid lane. Looks like a back willing to come through. Oh, gets stopped.
Crisp is not going to be able to take that reset right here. And when it comes to both of these teams, they both obviously want a team fight. They have very clear win conditions. However, LNG do not have a very easy way of engaging fights. I feel like the best bet right here would be Xiaohao engaging onto a target and then LNG just peeling off and killing whatever target comes to them. And using that extra range onto Gala to poke people out of these fights.
Chiến thuật đồ cặc gì mà lại vào rất đi top vậy.
Onto one member and you lose your front line. Very nice from Gala.
That's really good moves.
Exactly what we talked about, right? Use Gala to poke people out because in a proper front to back, you do not have the engage tools to pick up these fights.
He knows that somebody's over here. ZDZ is going to catch him in the bush. A lot of damage though coming back to him.
Và rớt đi top với tao.
And gets caught out by ZDZ. And now LNG can take the dragon, force that hand.
Ooh, right before the dragon as well, you definitely do not want to be getting close. ZDZ, you're not on Cassante this time around. That is a very, very squishy champion he's playing. Another BF sword in his inventory, but he ends up giving the dragon away with this skill, as well as a lot of pressure on the map. LNG are gonna move towards the top side of the map. There is no TP for 17 seconds. There is no TP at all onto ZDZ, so they could force a 4 versus 5 for this Baron.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here in my head screaming, finally, LNG are looking awake. Finally, these players who have been some of the top in their role are looking alive. Now Light is looking alive his own right. That electricity's pumping through his veins, and he's taking down Hung in his own. That's a solo to him. Now Xiaohao, who ended up coming in clutch there, can't make it out alive, and neither can Xiaohu. They'll chase him down, and it's Scout that gets him. Zika ended up taking out Crisp in the mid lane.
That was huge for LNG. They take the Baron, they take 3 kills as well. Now they can start exerting some of that pressure of the Baron buff onto the map. As you can see, that Cassante is locked and loaded when it comes to armor. There is a lot of 80 damage over on the side of Weibo Gaming, but the items are looking pretty good. And again, ZDZ gets... Oh, he gets spotted by the control ward. I thought Weiwei was 5-head right there, but he blocks the exit with a blast cone, he pops it off, and then they just all engage onto ZDZ. Again, that was a very crucial fight because you've got a Zeri with 2 completed items, and you had an item and a half onto your Talia as well. You definitely want to be taking these fights. However, being a man down right there, LNG pulled the trigger for the Baron. I'm sure Xiaohao did try to potentially cheekily steal that ended up going down, as well as another 3 members of Weibo Gaming. And right now, LNG, as we said, pull that restart on the side lane. You've got the Void Grabs buff, you've got the Baron buff, creates so much pressure on the side, and you've got a pretty solid 4-man mid.
And I love it because LNG are in their prime form when they are team fighting. They have a perfect team fight composition, and we are getting to that 25-30 minute mark where LNG and Weibo find a lot of their strengths in that regular season, and the team fighting comes to a head. And we have both team fight comps now coming to crash together as mid lane outer turret gets taken by LNG.
Opening up the map right here from LNG with the Baron buff. Gallup dashing forward, not necessarily that much you would expect, but he was also the tankiest member of Weibo Gaming. It was onto the Sejuani, and right here Weibo Gaming are the ones that are asked to respond to LNG's push right here with the Baron. They're pushing towards the bottom of the map. There has been a wave build by Scout, slowly getting taken out, and as you will see in the mid lane, Light is taking care of that mid lane wave as well. So Weibo Game are trying to minimize their losses with this Baron that they lost, and LNG are looking for openings. I would love to see somebody pressuring that top side of the map. There is a huge minion wave that's about to crash under the wave.
Oh, nice buffer there from Scout saving his life. Tidal wave came out. ZDZ is going to pull the trigger on that Chains of Corruption, doing about half Gala's health. They're just trying to get this tier 2 down here, but Weibo stands strong.
Rác rưởi vào rất đi top.
With Zika, Light going in on the Scout there, trying to take down these Baron minions. Lightning crash. Scout got to get out of there. Nice damage back from Weiwei, who's going to get caught by the Glacial Prison. Here comes Xiaohu as well. A lot of CC can go down. Here's the seismic shove. Weiwei's flashing into a wall, and he headbutts himself to death. Xiaohu claims it.
Weibo Gaming catching LNG onto the rotation towards that mid lane tower. That Baron did not end up resulting in too many structures for LNG. So Weibo Gaming should technically be happy with that particular defense. However, LNG are sticking around. I know their blue buff is going down, but you definitely do not want to be risking it. 1 minute on the clock, about 1 minute for the next dragon. And it's going to be very pivotal for both teams, because for LNG right here, you're literally stacking an Ocean Soul Dragon, which is going to be huge. There's all that poke that's thrown at you from the Talia, from the Zeri, from the Varus. And for Weibo Gaming, they're only 2 dragons away from actually taking that soul themselves. But again, Light takes matters into his own hands. He just dashes in through the wall.
I love it, man. This guy, he's actually insanely talented in team fighting, but he has had a pickup in decision making in recent history that's been really huge. This catch out, obviously, actually gigantic on the Weiwei, but you got to remember that Light is against an organization and a team that he spent so many years with, and he really carved his name into LPL on that LNG roster, the ones that made the miracle runs, the ones that were so supportive in the runs to Worlds and things like that. And now we see him on this Weibo roster over a year into it and really carving out a new legacy.
Và rớt top địt mẹ mày thì bao giờ win đây?
Going all the way to Worlds Finals with Weibo Gaming. Now playing for the other side of the Rift, and talking about the other side of the Rift, the Dragon has come up. So point it would be for Weibo Gaming.
They're already taking it down so quickly there. Who's going to get the smite? It's actually Weiwei this time.
Và rớt top, và rớt top.
But the fight afterwards is the important part. Zika goes in. He's a little bit too far. Nice lockdown there on his.
Và rớt top à.
But Gala is able to help Scout take him down. And now Scout tries to bind Chris but can't do it. Xiaohu's trying to flash.
Và rớt top à. Hết game.
And LNG are TPing into the.
Tôi nói LNG win trận này rồi. Em đéo tin. Dễ.
Weibo Gaming, there's just a Sejuani and a Lulu, and there's 5 members of LNG absolutely smashing those towers. They have the wave, they have the power. Can Weibo Gaming here defend? It's just the Lulu and the Sejuani.
They got Xiaohu and Chris, but can they stand against the wave of LNG? They have one more wave. They're into the last turret here as well. The focus will be the Nexus after it comes through. Chris goes down. LNG will not go quietly into the night. And we will go to a game number 4.
Thôi, phải handicap làm gì?
LNG waking up.
Vào money line thôi. Mẹ handicap nguy hiểm lắm. Bây giờ anh em đánh money line kèo tổng này, x3 này. LNG x3 kèo tổng này. Lên khá thơm.
it just didn't work. Your brand was falling behind in CS. Your neutral objectives were not there. The Dragons were going away to Weibo Gaming, but they brought it back. I feel like if you could, like, even if you lose this series, just give a big fat medal to Scout, because this guy has bought a 4XL backpack to put everyone else in it, and in this game it worked.
Yeah, it feels really good to finally see the big names that this LNG roster are built around actually performing to the namesake that they hold. Now, that was a intense game number 3, and LNG staved themselves off for one more, but they have to continue that momentum. And Weibo have been here before. We'll see if they can right the wrongs and not be cursed, as we'll get to game 4 shortly.
Có cát đéo đâu gái xin bố ơi. Địt mẹ mày chán sống à em. Thầy đang bực nha. cát đéo đâu, ngồi sầm lồn mà. Thuốc đầu buổi đắng thế.
Well, we find ourselves in a very similar and maybe deja vu style situation here for Weibo Gaming, where now LNG have fought themselves back in game number 3 and pushed us to a game 4. Weibo going up 2-0 early. I'm Mazel, I'm joined by Trouble, and what a game 3 it was. Scout said, no, you shall not pass, and he played Tristana pretty well.
He's been trying for 3 games, okay? I feel like the reason he hasn't gotten MVP all 3 games is because the first 2 he just didn't win. But this time around, Scout was everywhere, man. He was dumping waves in the mid lane just to try and get towards the top side of the map to secure void grabs for his jungler. His jungler being 16 CS down. He's diving into other towers to try and get kills, pushes people out. Like, Scout has gone honestly above and beyond this series, and I'm so happy that LNG woke up in this game number 3 and are actually facilitating for him.
Yeah, he earned double MVPs in regular season last year for a reason. This guy is a mainstay, he's a world champion. He needs to find success, and he tried so damn hard on his Azir first 2 games, giving him the sticks on the Tristana. I expect Tristana to be nowhere present in the final 2 games of this series if we go all 5, because this champion is insane. The way they utilize it, the pressure it provides, the strength it has been the difference maker and has a huge win rate because of it.
Absolutely, and I feel like it's for both mid laners, right? Yahoo has used it to its utmost potential. Now Scout shows that he can play it as well, and he can take it to its utmost potential as well. And I feel like the fact that LNG have been focusing these void grubs as well as pairing it up with the Tristana is very dangerous, because you hammer these towers down super quickly. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily gonna be banned or potentially be one.
I'm very curious at what they're going to go for priorities here, because ZDZ's
There's too many bans, you know?
Did not work out, but the Maokai needs to be banned, the Ashe needs to be banned, we need to see the Tristana banned at this point. Like, there's a lot of things that are starting to take priority, and that's what I love about our best of 5s and the way that a lot of these drafts dictate the mini meta within it. And I think these 2 guys in your screen going into a game 4, it has been punches back and forth with the Tristanas and trying to find what works, and that pressure out of mid lane has been what's worked for both of them.
And I'm so happy to see a smile on Scout's face as well. He left the chair in game 1 and 2 so disappointed. He tried his hardest. Now in game 3 it worked out, and I'm not gonna lie to you, myself. You talked a little bit about the Varus. I think the Varus was a mistake. It was like, hey guys, let's lock in the Varus, and then they were like, wait, that's actually a really good Zeri draft. Yo, ZDZ, do you play Varus top? He's like, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, the dude got a solo kill, right? He played it very well. However, it's not what the team composition needed at that point, because it did have a lot of damage dealers. And the Varus seemed to have completely thrown the composition a little bit off right there. But locked in and loaded for game number 4. Weibo do not want to go into 5 series again. They do not want for them to happen what happened to them best in the IG series. And honestly, I'm gonna put an asterisk right here for the man on your screen on the right. Crisp was so stellar in games number 1 and number 2, sort of caging him on a pick like Lulu. I feel like lost a lot of the pressure that Weibo Gaming had in the first 2 games.
Weibo, having finally lost, they get side selection. They go straight to blue side. LNG will be on the red side for the first time in the series, so some big changes in that direction. It's already the Vi and the Cassante ban by Weibo. Also, that Maokai Ashe that has been a consistent respect ban by LNG. They only have 1 more in the first phase. The Varus is the ban by Weibo.
Ooh, Maokai Ashe out. You would expect maybe a Tristana ban right here, so you don't want to be giving it away. It has been such a pivotal importance there is for both of these teams. And right now you have so many choices to make right here. However, Nautilus has been that one pick that has been permabanned for the entire series.
And Crisp on Nautilus looks like a monster. He finds so many engages. He's on the roam consistently. It is huge. Now LNG may be harkening back to their regular season against Weibo. The Senna locked in for Gala, so some safety and scaling going their way.
And let me give you a flashback right here. 7, 1, and 9 was the scoreline of Gala playing that Senna versus Weibo Gaming in their 3rd game in the regular season best of 3. The game that LNG ended up coming out of winners. you want someone to carry for you, Gala onto the Senna could 100% be it right here. And what does Weibo Gaming have in store? Because I feel like Xiaohu's Talia is still a pretty strong tool. You still have Azir up and available, and I mean, do you want to be giving this away over to Scout again? Because sure, he didn't have the most impact, but that was because the team was not necessarily functioning as it should. Right now you've got a... Oh,
this is what's been banned away every game too.
Hold on, I do say ZDZ. However, we have seen Rumble bot lane shenanigans.
We definitely have.
ZDZ.
But the last time we saw ZDZ
bây giờ có 223 người xem này. Lên kèo nào. Lên kèo cho anh em tiếp tục map 4, anh em đi tiếp tục LNG nha.
And he had a lot of strengths in last game, but the composition was just a little wonky to play around it. Now it's full frontal on the Zeri carry.
I'm also talking some smack. It can't be bot lane. Nautilus has already been locked in B1, so I take this one back. However, there is so much scaling on both sides. The Zeri with the 3-4 items, same for Senna. You've got a Kench in the front line. Nautilus on the other hand side. Rumble, who absolutely shreds through any bruiser on the top side of the map. However, Aatrox is one of the picks that I call him an AD mage because he primarily uses a lot of his utility on his hit to not necessarily have
still the main one that we are looking at in the second phase, although it's right now the mid lane matchup. They'll take the LeBlanc away from Xiaohu and take some of that side lane from Weibo.
I wonder if Azir is going to get banned here.
Some particular focuses because
great front to back for the side of LNG. Are we thinking of an Azir ban right there?
There it is.
Of course. And I'm expecting also some sort of Aliyah ban right here. I wonder if Azir is going to get banned here. So freakish as well. There's just so many champions still in the pool that can make an impact. I want a little bit more proactivity towards the top side for LNG. You've got perfectly scaling, Senna Kench on the bot side, Aatrox is scaling. I need some mid jungle duo synergy going on. I feel like something potentially like an Ari together with a Diego would pair up really well just to get you through this early stage top side.
I want to see the Ace Soul if we get it. We've seen it pop up everywhere else. We saw it.
I need some mid jungle duo synergy going on. I feel like something potentially
game này đi LNG nha anh em nhá.
Would pair up really well just to get you through this early stage of the game.
I want to see the Ace Soul if we get it. We've seen it pop up everywhere else. We even saw it just last night.
More scaling,
and,
yay!
More scaling, I want it. The Talia was that ban. The Ari there, nicely called, as that was the target from Weibo, trying to take away some of the strength that can be done between the mid-jungle duo. But now, we have a potential...
LNG! LNG!
Hold up, if Weibo is pulling out the Nidalee and the Jace is still open,
4.5.
this could potentially be a scout Jace in the mid lane. That is a lot of pressure coming out from the side of LNG. I'm loving it. Oh no! I'm getting Leia on flashbacks.
Cái địt mẹ nó big nearly à.
From the IG series,
trông LNG nó big ngu xuẩn thật sự luôn đấy.
However, seeing the Karma hover right here, this is going to be probably Karma Sinsao. Very, very strong. Karma X, Karma Lee Sin, Karma Sinsao, Karma Viego. Extremely, extremely strong when it comes to the 2v2 scenarios.
That's really big for Xiaohao as well. Giving a little bit more priority towards him and some carry potential for him. But we have seen Lien got the better of him on some more aggressive styles. And we'll see if Weiwei can adapt that style into this one. They are going to lock that Viego in. A lot of weight on the shoulders of Xiaohao. You can see he's kind of feeling it there a little bit. But pressure is on here for Weibo not to be brought the distance. The TF for Zika. Oh, maybe not actually for Scout, rather.
It's a TF for Scout. It could potentially be an AP TF. Okay, not the best pairings that you would expect with something like a Nidalee, especially since Karma mid lane can exceed a lot of pressure in terms of priority early on, so I do want to see how this will go on.
3.5 tội gì không vào nhỉ.
Pressure with TF,
Vào đây.
especially since you have Aatrox and you have Nidalee, being able to join the side lanes on skirmishes like that, especially after level 6 with the TF, is going to be huge for Scout. And honestly, he has so many tools in his hands to be able to influence the side lane, which he has been trying the entire series.
Very different style compositions coming out. No more facilitation for Xiaohao. He's got the sticks. He's the one that's going to have to find the leads. Whereas for LNG, They have put together a very scale-heavy composition, but a lot of strength. I feel like if they can find the connection between Weiwei and Scout with that yellow card with the spear combo, but that is a bar of execution that makes it a little bit more difficult to reach. And I think Weibo will take a lot of that with the synergy that you can have with the Karma and the Viego. And
I'm gonna be very honest with you, every time I see a Viego in a game, my very first question is, okay, you get the first reset, what is the kind of, what are the souls that you're getting? Are they worth it? Are they high value? I don't see a lot of high value. Getting Senna, Nidalee, Tam Kent, they're not really souls that you necessarily want to be taking to follow up on a kill. I feel like his primary targets are going to be like Aatrox and TF, because getting this gold cap would be huge.
We're getting into game 4 now, pivotal one. LNG still on the brink of being knocked out. Weibo looking to surge forward and not be brought to a 5th game. So many faces know each other in this stadium and on this stage. And only one of these teams can come out victorious. See if LNG can get us to silver scrapes.
A lot of cheers from the crowd as well.
Anh em LNG money line nhá.
I don't think Weibo wants to rinse and repeat Monday series.
Or we go with the mindset of like they want more games again. You know?
Hey, official scrims. There you go. Official
it
practice.
All circles
especially
back.
I mean, especially if you're going up against JDG, you need as many official games as you possibly can. You need to like stretch the mile as much as you can at this point. Get every bit of those games in. And right now, I feel like this is literally the point where I feel like a lot of the teams sort of resort back to scaling. We had a very interesting conversation yesterday over in the LEC where a lot of the European teams, especially in a best of scenario, best of 3 or best of 5, if it's gone all the way to 4 or 5 games, you will usually see both teams sort of resort back to scaling. They say, hey, if we play a slow and calculated game and we know we're really good at team fights and how we play, there's no way we can lose, right? And I feel like Weibo's team fights have been absolutely exceptional. Like in game number 1, in game number 2, the way they were coordinating, they were picking their targets, the way they were dancing pretty much back and forth in and out of these in these team fights was immaculate.
Yeah.
So I feel like for Weibo right here, it's kind of the same situation. They're like, look, we've got scaling all across the board with a very strong mid-jungle duo and a top laner that can bully lane with Ignite.
Yeah.
All we have to do is just wait to scale.
And these two teams are the ones that want to, right? We came into this one saying this was the tortoise race and who's going to be a little bit slower, who's going to have the slowest pace, because they love to get to the 25, 30-minute mark and have those big team fights. That's where they excel. We've seen Weibo adapt their style a little bit by having a little bit more tempo in the early game so far in this series, and it's led to some really big games. But now we are getting that point where, okay, both teams, we realize we're strong later. Let's find us comps that will allow that. And a lot of bridge building to be done by some very aggressive junglers early on.
However, the execution status on the side of LNG is a little bit more difficult. You've got a Nidalee, which is not the easiest to team fight with. You're looking for skirmishes early on. You're trying to get that gold card into potentially a spear from Nidalee to try and 100% to zero somebody real quickly. You don't have the classic front-to-back jungler that you always want to have when you have a Senna in your team. However, you do have a Kent and an Aatrox that can frontline for you from the side of LNG. And Chris,
this is what's so deadly.
He has been spotted. He's been pinged out, but Xiaohao is there on the other side as well.
Crisp has been so good on the roams on the Nautilus. There's a reason why it's been banned so often against him. He has early presence on the map, and he can find decent engages there. Now he does need to go back towards bot side, as Weiwei will be in his way. On the way there, actually, Crisp not realizing that he's
he knows
here.
he's been spotted.
Not going to be able to do too much. He is a Nautilus. He'll run straight into it and flash immediately. Wow, Crisp with the reaction speed.
I feel like he knew.
Mẹ nó tốc biến quả. Cái đoán thế nhở? Cái địt con mẹ nó vừa thấy kia tốc biến con mẹ luôn ạ, vãi lồn thật. Bọn lồn nó chơi game vãi lồn thật.
Chris was about to walk in. However, Chris was like, you know what? I'm not backing out. I'm not taking the long route. I'm gonna walk through this tribush, no matter if it costs my flash. It did cost his flash. However, he does have the Hex flash. Now Xiaohao.
They know he's
potential
here.
Dive mid.
Yellow card available. He's under turret here, but the spear not going to be in time. Just a couple milliseconds off of each other from LNG.
Oh, I love that creativity right here from Weibo Game, trying to go for a dive. Crisp sliding gates, a little bit of back and forth in the bot lane, but I do like the activity over in the mid lane for WBG Gaming. We said how Karma X, whatever bruiser, jungler, or fighter jungler you want to pair it up with. That's really, really great in terms of skirmishing, diving, pressuring mid-jungle duo of the opponents, and that's exactly what Xiaohao has been trying to do here.
Doing a lot of damage to that catfish. Double root will connect, though, from Gala. You can see it. A little bit of pressure to get it back from WBG on the bottom side of the map. Something else I want to check in is this top side, as the Grubbies will be watched by WBG. We did have the double Arcane Comet top side of the map, so trying to combat some of the poking available is Zika, but they will still, even though he's getting pressed so heavily, get the Grubbies.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm always scared when I see top lane Ignite. Because if that goes south, if you end up dying, you just get punished over and over again. And the reason why you take Ignite in lane is so you can have that extra pressure. You take the Scorch, you take the Comet, you take the Ignite, and you actually have kill pressure very early on. If you end up going down, all of that kill pressure completely dissipates because you do not have teleport anymore. So your kill pressure is not there anymore, your map pressure is not there anymore, and you pretty much have to be following around, which means you lose a lot in terms of priority over in the side lanes and push over in the side lanes. And if we're looking at push and priority, you see that LNG have a Twisted Fate on Scout, which is most likely gonna be buggering off to a side lane later on in the game and just taking down the towers. And same for Zika onto the Aatrox. You put a Karma and a Rumble, you definitely don't want to be having these two picks on the side lane.
You have level 6 achieved by solo laners, at least. Both of them could be bopped in top side of the map, but the more important one, I feel like, is Scout with the Destiny. ZDZ gonna get hit by a couple Q sweet spots, dodge out of that nice spear, and see some proactivity from Scout with the Destiny. He can get out of lane where Xiaohu can't. I think that's gonna be really important.
That is going to be important, absolutely. What's also very important is WBG Gaming are going to have to try and find ways to lure LNG in to fight them, and so far they've been doing a pretty good job. I feel like WBG Gaming have been focusing heavily on finding these early game dragons, which frees a lot of their decision making when it comes to that mid game. They've got the luxury to say, we're not going to contest this dragon, we're not going to fight it, we already have two. And that's the case here again, and it all comes down to Light and Crisp. They have had an absolute lane kingdom all 3 games back to back to back, which has allowed Xiaohao to sneak in and take those early game dragons, which then allows them all this space and time to make these decisions later on whether they want to contest or not.
It's been really big because we know Gala to be a mainstay of the carry potential of LNG. He has not had the biggest of series so far. He is on the Senna. He'll have a lot to say as time goes on. He was even trying to get on a roam there as well on the Xiaohu, his old team partner, knowing each other well from his RNG double carry days. But I think now, especially with Xiaohu having a lot of consistent pressure on this Scout, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the TF to get out of this lane, be proactive, and to help WBG start building that bridge.
Yeah, that's what we talked about early on in the draft, right? We're like, Twisted Fate doesn't necessarily pair up together with Nidalee very well because you cannot necessarily build a lot of synergy in the mid-jungle. Yes, maybe if you walk out of lane and you get a gold card, you can pair it up with the spear and just assassinate somebody straight up. But the Karma is just going to perma-pressure you in lane. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to get out of lane. Talking about getting out of lane, he's going to pop the Destiny right now. It's going straight back mid, guys. There's a wave on the tower. He needs to farm that one up. The Karma pressure is just immense.
Xiaohao will answer WBG, get one of his Krogs up here after pressuring onto Zika. ZDZ having a hefty CS lead, and the Rumble finally being unlocked for this guy as it had been taken away from him in the bans. And there is a lot of highlight clips from just their last best of 5 that showed why this pick has been so monumental for WBG. And they can play so safely because of that pressure now. Look at this, man. We've seen this deja vu time and time again, and Zika is forced out of his lane. He doesn't have TP, and it's just that difficult.
Có nha Quốc Vinh ơi, tôi có bay bồ nha. Có bay bồ. Mr. Dunkest @gmail.com.
He can choose to equalizer the wave right here, even if he wants to, and just instantly back out. Huge advantages towards the top side of the map that have not yet been answered by WBG. We usually have Hang cross the line and go towards the top side of the map, trying to get Zika ahead. But at this point, Hang is the one farming down the bot lane. You cannot leave that bot lane with Tam Kench if you're the one farming. So it all falls down to WBG to try and find a way to break the top side of the map. We said how important it is if you take the flash off of ZDZ. If you do manage to kill him, all that kill pressure goes down massively from the top side of the map, and so far he has not been punished.
WBG, they're moving all bodies up towards this top side of the map. They want to contest
win.
for
Ok
these
em Quốc
grubs.
Vinh ơi, 10 đô mà còn ít á. 10 đô là quá nhiều luôn đấy. Em người nước ngoài à? Em là ở nước ngoài à, Quốc Vinh. Sao lại dùng Pipe này? Ngày xưa có một ngày xưa có một ông viewer cũng hay donate qua PayPal thầy. Ông ấy biến Mỹ. Thế nên là thầy mới lập một cái PayPal. Thế là mới có để dùng đấy. Phải lùn flash luôn ạ. Choáng không? Choáng được không? Khó rồi. Ô hay này. Hay này. Hay. Yeah. Let. Stun. Yeah. LNG.
Junglers that will play in your face. He brings out the brand in game 3. It works. He brings
phải
out
thế,
the
pick đội hình kiểm soát nó phải thế.
LNG are finally clicking. They grouped up towards the top side of the map. They had a very clear target.
LNG lật kèo 32.
And as we see in this replay again, ZDZ is losing the first target that they have in mind, because Equalizer is a huge tool when it comes to this neutral objective fight and being stuck into choke points. I feel like this Equalizer was not.
Quả này chói hay quá. Dính hai luôn. WBG hay này. WBG double kill này. WBG triple kill.
And then they follow up with a third kill onto Chris, but Xiaohao getting hit by the
Hello, Hoàng Thị Xuyên nhá.
A big whoopsie right there from the side of WBG Gaming.
Yeah, steps up a little bit too far, punished heavily. And now a Lich Bane already completed there with a static shiv in mid lane for Scout. There's a lot of presence and pressure on the map. Yes, Dragon did go over to WBG, so they'll keep stacking that one up. And they still have a lot of strength in the team fight, right? The Malignant's picked up for Xiaohu. He will be a menace now, being able to mantra Q anytime he wants. But it's also about trying to stave off some of the early presence that now Scout and WBG will have together. That bar of execution just got a little bit lower and a little bit easier to achieve.
Absolutely, because we're still only 12 minutes into the game, and Lich Bane hurts so much. Even the base AP from the item when it comes to the spears landing from WBG is really going to hurt those HP bars. It's only later on that Vanilla is not having a very great time. ZDZ is not having a great time either.
He is definitely not. He's gonna wish that he had some wildlife repellent of some sort, because WBG comes up, gives him a visit, gives Zika a kill, and that's huge. Also, on top of all that, while WBG was getting that dragon earlier, all 6 grubs got achieved from LNG, and it's officially Grubageddon.
Yeah, I feel like LNG have had a tendency on going for those void grabs in general in their entire game, and I mean, like right here, it makes so much sense. You've got the Ajax, you've got the Nidalee, you've got the TF. They're going to be hitting towers. And they're going to be hitting them so much harder now with the buff. Xiaohao is going to walk up, but he's going to find out really soon that he cannot be walking up all on his lonesome. He's going to wait for his jungle mid duo, sorry, his support mid duo to join him. But so far, so good from LNG, and WBG are just not finding the answers that they so wish. I feel like they have completely turned around their playstyle. We talked about how good they are on their 1-3-1s.
Thằng lùn là vừa chết đây.
They have completely ditched that style.
Thằng lùn là vừa chết đây. 4-1 này. Vừa giết được thêm một thằng nữa.
The kill pressure has been completely taken out of the rift by killing the Rumble. Even level right now with Zika. Zika gets that hex trigger. He's gonna have his items, so not that kill pressure falls off.
Địt con mẹ, hôm nay tôi cho anh em 3 kèo LPL ăn rồi. Một kèo tài tham map 2 nhá, một kèo LNG map 2 nhá, map 3 nhá, LNG map 4 chuẩn bị ăn.
It's been really, really nice to see a wake up from a superstar jungler in his own right. But also, I just have to talk about it. It's the second series in a row we've had really questionable drafts from WBG in games 3 and game 4. And now WBG may be feeling a little bit of that here, as they are trying to stave off some of the darkness that they were brought into yesterday by IG. They were able to stave that off. They finished off game 5.
Đánh nhau tiếp à?
And here they are in their triumph, trying to take down a Rift Herald right in front of the rest of LNG. They brought light up.
It's resetting. Okay, this Rift Herald has reset 2 times.
Bỏ luôn. Đi vào mày bỏ luôn à?
Hang was resetting at this point, so maybe you could think of like a TP in. Alright, here LNG.
Bỏ luôn à? Gắt vậy.
They're fine to give this one away, especially since they do not have the setup. They don't have.
Mạnh hơn mà lại bỏ sứ giả. Địt mẹ ảo nhờ.
They're earning other advantages over on the map. As you can see, Scout is also hovering both sides of the map. ZDZ walks up again. That is a non-teleport rumble. You kill him. It takes him so long to get back in lane to grab any sort of CS and experience from those creeps. So LNG so far have managed to pretty much not only shut him down, but also get fed in the process. 3-0 onto Weiwei, onto this Nidalee. Now, we need to see him put that Nidalee onto some work, because the later the game goes, the bigger the shields get from Karma, so your poke is not going to be as effective.
Got to keep the momentum up there. Again, they've got their hammers out, they've got some material to build a bridge, and they are doing so right now. But it has to be a bridge that's built to a carry like Gala, and he has to be the late game scaling factor for LNG if they want to have a hope. But we are looking like we're going to get to those moments, right? We're passing that 15-minute mark. We're going to be getting to a point where Weibo can feel a little bit more confident on the map. Crisp is already consistently roaming, and we're going to have a lot more presence out of mid lane. About 40 seconds till a dragon spawns. ZDZ has completed his Leandries, and we'll see the first item spikes aplenty for the next fight.
Yeah, you see Scout pressure in bot lane as well. He's very close to that dragon. If the fight breaks out, absolutely eating through those towers, has the support and the vision control from his team as well. Something that LNG has been heavily criticized for, not having a lot of vision when the split pushing. Right now the whole bottom side is lit up. Rift Herald gonna be popped for some pressure from the side of Weibo Gaming, but look at Zika's positioning on the top side.
Getting the charge in, Zika casting a wall, threatening a little bit of a flank there. They did end up getting their first turret for Weibo. A little bit of that standing gold given over, but the dragon is spawned. Weiwei is in primary position. We'll end up knowing that they're there, though. Weibo trying to collapse over. Oh, Light, you're in a lot of trouble. Destiny on the other side of the wall. The flash coming out now as well. If Chris just goes instantly on the scout,
Crips.
Try to go for a side engage. ZDZ on the other side does have equalizer available and his flash. Weibo still have tools to fight, but they've lost their primary engage in Chris.
Absolutely, and right now you need your equalizer to stick. Without that Nautilus, how do you make the equalizer stick? How do you make a huge impact with it? I feel like right here, Weibo Gaming just need to give up this dragon and try to play for a little bit more pressure on the map, pushing that mid lane wave, pushing that top lane wave, and try to get some of that standing gold that you've been mentioning on the map into your pockets. They need more power into these champions later on. When you're diving into the backline as a Viego, you need to be strong enough to take someone down, and so far Xiaohao has just not had the easiest early game to be able to translate that Viego Karma pick.
He is not, but he's trying to get a little bit back for his team now. I've been taking the Chicky Nuggies and was actually focusing on the Prugs, but Hung TPing in topside realized he immediately needs to run away from said topside, as there's 4 members of Weibo up there, and Weibo take a second turret of the game for themselves.
I'd like to see Weibo Gaming just move a little bit into the jungle, trying to get some control of some sort, because so far a lot of their TPs and a lot of the movements on the map have been very reactive. As you can see here, Light is trying to dodge that, but he has to flash the tongue lash from Cam Kent, and Chris got a little bit too far forward, cannot escape. The entirety of LNG is there to jump on them, and again, I feel like Weibo Gaming are at their best when ZDZ is at his best, and having him right now stuck onto an Ignite Rumble that cannot necessarily impact the map as much as he wants has sort of handcuffed Weibo Gaming in terms of how they like to play the split map and how they like to have that side lane pressure.
LNG might have found the ticket to their reverse sweep.
Nay hôm đéo nào cũng build 5 anh em nhỉ? Mấy hôm LPL, 3 hôm LPL liên tiếp đều build 5 anh em ạ.
I know LCK wrapped up just a little bit ago. You know, if you're missing a little bit of that, both these teams definitely leaning towards that play style so far. But with a scaling composition like LNG have and the lead they already have, it's getting pretty monumental. About 4,000 gold up for them. And with a couple more objectives coming on the map, some item completions. Now also Banshee's Veil for Weiwei. Going to be able to play a lot more confidently.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think that maybe Nidalee is the kryptonite for Weibo Gaming.
Yeah.
Maybe they just see Nidalee and they throw their hands up. You know, caught, go next draft. 3-0 for Weiwei.
Have you ever run it? You know how you deal with a
này Duy ôi địt mẹ cái thằng quạ đen đấy anh em cứ gọi làm cái gì để thầy lên kèo cho anh em bú phải sướng không? Mẹ cứ nghe em gọi cái thằng quạ đen làm cái gì cho kèo toàn chết. Rồi bọn này lấy đâu ra đam mà đánh nhau đây trời. Bọn Weibo không đội hình không có sát thương luôn đấy. Con mẹ để tôi cho kèo anh em không thích rồi. Mẹ hai con quạ đen kia có biết chơi đâu. Phân tích với trả tích phân. Đội hình này của LG thì ăn Baron hơi khó nha, ăn Baron hơi chậm nha.
And again, unfortunately for Weibo Gaming, ZDZ twice in a row, he's not having the game he wishes he could have. And Weibo Gaming, it feels like without that pressure in the top lane, they're just literally crumbling on the map. 5,000 gold difference, 21 minutes in from the set of LNG, and if they so wish, they can turn over to the Baron real quickly. Yeah. As they have taken over that side and just force a fight through that.
Xiaohao's having a lot of trouble in the Viego just because you're not getting a lot of the resources given to him, and that's what we kind of set up in the draft. Is he needed to find resources early to try to get light into the game.
Cái đội hình này muốn win sớm cũng đéo được đâu, không win sớm được. Đội này muốn win sớm cũng khó cho LNG tại vì sát thương đẩy trụ khá chậm. Cứ phải từ từ đánh cứ chậm chắc snowball đã. Đang ao tiền mình cứ kiểm soát mục tiêu thôi, không phải vội. Mình đang dẫn mà mình không phải vội. Giờ có muốn rush cũng không được. Giờ muốn đẩy nhanh tiến độ cũng không được. Trong late thì con Senna, con Nidalee nó sẽ yếu, nhưng mà bây giờ cứ snowball đi. Đi đẩy trụ thôi. Giờ mà lao lên đánh nhau là không được cái gì. Giờ ăn Baron cũng không ăn được tại vì ăn chậm. Tốt nhất là
Gaming are trying to establish a little bit of vision control. You see that Weibo want to go wherever LNG is not. You definitely do not want to be walking into any spears. You do not want to be walking into any roots from Senna. So they're trying to establish control wherever LNG just doesn't exist for that moment.
Zika actually took a side lane tier 2. He's onto an inhibitor right now, and Weibo are gonna trade that.
Mẹ ăn Baron luôn này.
This is a big moment, and Zika has a TP.
Ăn vãi lồn, bọn này tự sát rồi. Bọn này tự sát rồi. Bọn này đi rồi. Đi bán Baron này là tự hủy con mẹ rồi. Xong rồi thua rồi. Vỡ trận rồi. Quả lao Amazon vỡ trận rồi. Tôi nhìn thằng Scout bọc đầu là chết chắc rồi. Rồi lá lưỡi chúng thì đi chạy bằng cái gì? Có gì chạy xong 10-0. Ăn Baron xong end game. Ăn Baron đẩy cánh dưới là win hết game. Xong nhá. Trận này tôi phân tích đội hình của LNG là chuẩn. Đội hình đẩy cánh khá mạnh. Kiểm soát cực kỳ, đội hình kiểm soát cực kỳ khỏe, và rơi vào tay của LNG thì sẽ là an bài rồi. Đội hình kiểm soát cực kỳ mạnh. Với con Nidalee, với con Senna và một con Tam Ken, những con tướng di chuyển cơ động. Should be able to close this one out cleanly, and as you can see, that was the perfect Baron peep for ZDZ. You walk through this choke point, you lay down the carpet of death, perfect. Nói chung là bây giờ nhá, Không thể farm được đâu Tạ Kiên ạ. Cái đội hình này con Senna nó càng đánh nó càng mạnh. Cái thứ nhất tay nó dài. Cái thứ hai là nó có một con TF có khả năng cơ động bọc đầu. Nên là nếu như mà để Jerry càng farm thì lại càng thua. Em hiểu không? Cái tình huống đấy là nó thấy thằng A Chốc đang đẩy bot nên nó quyết định ăn Bazon. Nên là bắt buộc phải đánh như thế rồi. Càng farm thì càng thua thôi. Bên kia đội hình nó quá mạnh rồi, con A Chốc quá mạnh rồi. Bây giờ mà để về lết thì cũng chết. Được đâu, không đánh được đâu. Trận này GG đánh game mới. Ban pick. Với là cái vấn đề là cái bọn đội hình của bọn Weibo này cũng đéo có tanh cơ. Nó mà lao vào nhá, địt mẹ thì cũng đéo có cửa mà thủ cơ. Rồi bây giờ thì địt mẹ lấy đầu sát thương giết thằng Hăng đây. Lấy đầu sát thương giết thằng Hăng đây. Rồi xong. Rồi xong Q1 xong Q2. Đi. Mà sau LNG tiếp là rõ rồi đấy. Nó đang có thế mà. LNG nó đang có thế thì cứ thế mà đánh thôi. Làm cái lồn gì đấy Dunkest.
With a phenomenal performance this entire series, no different onto this Twisted Fate. No matter what champion he touches, this guy is absolutely mind-blowing in terms of performance. And now the rest of LNG, thankfully, have woken up to back him up. They have found a way, and that is through a more proactive jungle, a more proactive mid lane, and so far in 2 games back to back it has worked for LNG and WBG back on the drawing board. You're on the losing side. You have picked blue twice and it's not gone great. You thrive on counter picks, you thrive on having priority lanes. I'm expecting Weibo to already be thinking about game number 5.
Side lane has to be the ticket. LNG didn't have any answers for those first couple games when they were playing so well through those side lanes. But they absolutely have answers if you just try to take a straight team fight composition into them. This is their strength. They're pulling the whole Bane meme. This is they were born.
Bọc quả này quá hay. Thấy không? Em biết lý do vì sao không kéo lên được chưa Tạ Kiên? Địt mẹ nó có con thằng sờ cao, nó bọc làm sao mà farm được? Không thể farm nổi, địt mẹ nó bọc ra sau là chết. Đội hình toàn rúi vào người, toàn mấy con lao vào thôi. Địt mẹ làm sao mà đứng yên mà farm được. Địt mẹ Big cái đội hình này là quá hay từ LNG. Đội hình có chiều sâu. Địt mẹ đội hình có chiều sâu, có tầm nhìn, chiến lược tốt, kiểm soát hay, vừa có tanh vừa có đam. Đấy. Vừa có pốc, vừa có mẹ cơ động. 100 điểm. 100 điểm trong đội hình này. Thế mà thằng nhà cái nó dám địt mẹ hạ kèo chấp của LNG xuống còn âm 3.5.
Weibo game in a very easy way to open up a base from the side of LNG. Very well calculated right here. And this is crashing down their waves. You'll see that right now. Mid lane's gonna crash in a second. Top lane is already shoving and bottom is already underneath the tower. LNG is just a matter of seconds.
They got a full flank going right here. Donning Shadow delays what LNG can do, and now they find more. No, Xiaohao's gonna flash out. Light is looking to fight back. He's gonna be turned into just a lightning rod for LNG's success. More kills.
Endgame.
LNG kill everyone but Xiaohu, and they're on to the Nexus turrets for 3 days.
Phải lùm 16-0 không giết được một ai ạ. Kinh thật. 16-0 không giết được một ai. Ok. Lên PayPal cho Quốc Vinh donate nào.
There's no way they would go down. 0-3 to Weibo Gaming, not with the caliber of players that they have in the team. Weiwei wakes up right on time, right before they lose everything before their hands. And again, mind-blowing performance, brings in the needle, he brings back the deja vu onto Weibo game, and Weibo again not being able to close out a series 3-0. They must be kicking themselves.
They start so strong every time. It is 2 dominant games into 2 games that feel like it's a completely different team. And Weibo, they need to bring themselves back from the brink. They did it yesterday, or the 2 days ago, right, against IG. Again, but LNG, they've been sleeping, but the chillin has finally.
Là cái gì nhỉ? Thấy chưa? Em thấy chưa? Em thấy bay bổ thấy chưa? Lô Thomas Music nhá. Ok em ơi. Nhà mất nước khó chịu quá. Trách thầy ơi à. Ui. Xem nào. Đợi thầy một tí nhá. Thank you em nhá. Thầy nhận được 10 đô của Quốc Vinh. Thank you Quốc Vinh nhá. Thơm thế nhờ. Rồi. Bây giờ chúng ta map 3 thôi. Map cuối thôi, map cuối thôi. Chắc là lật kèo rồi. Map cuối thì rate hơi thấp nhưng mà vào cũng được nhá. Rate map cuối sẽ là thấp nhưng mà có còn hơn không. Vào kèo chấp thì thật sự hơi rén. Âm 4.5 khá rén. Vào anh em vào kèo chấp âm 4.5 cũng được, vào money line cũng được. Nhưng mà nói chung là tùy anh em thích ăn nhiều vào chấp, anh em an toàn thì vào money line đều ngon cả. Đấy, game 5 ok Quốc Vinh nhá. Làm thêm 10 đô đó của Quốc Vinh đi. em rất ngại nói ra.
Vì một điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra, không em ơi, anh không có người thứ ba. Chỉ là điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra với em. Mùa đông cho đêm mái thêm xanh, bao nhiêu câu bật trong anh. Ta đi con đường để phải đi qua bao nhiêu phố phường. Thôi em ơi, con đường xa, anh cũng ngại phải đưa em về nhà. Anh cũng ngại phải chào ông chào bà, và anh cũng ngại phải cô đơn tại gia. Nhiều ngày rồi mình có nhau, nhưng em nào có biết đâu. Những suy nghĩ ở trong đầu chẳng thể nói được ra cho qua mau, để rồi lại mong cho đêm mai em sang. Cho dù anh chẳng dám để làm bể bàng này, cho dù anh chẳng chắc mình có chịu ôm em ngủ say. Ôm em ngủ say. Vì một điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra, không em ơi, anh không có người thứ ba. Chỉ là điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra với em. Và anh biết chẳng cần thiết phải như thế nếu vẫn muốn bên nhau. Một điều mà ai đã từng, một điều chẳng ai muốn dừng lại đâu. Vì một điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra, không em ơi, không có người thứ ba. Chỉ là điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra với em. Chỉ là điều mà anh rất ngại nói ra. Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi, mưa ngọt ngào trong câu nói, mưa nhẹ nhàng trong lời hát ai đã xa vời, mưa ngập ngây trong tâm trí về người con gái anh thương. Mưa vẫn còn đâu đây. Hôm nay Hà Nội buồn lắm mà cứ rơi mãi rơi, cũng như anh mong cho dòng ký ức về em nó cứ trôi mãi thôi. Dùng cảm xúc vẽ nên hình ảnh em bằng màu của nỗi nhớ, trên hiện giờ đó cũng chỉ là những thứ đã bị thời gian phai mờ. Bởi vì em không phải là người con gái dành cho anh, có duyên để gặp nhưng không có phận, thì dù có cố cũng chẳng thành. Giấu tên em trong từng bản nhạc để họ không biết em là ai, anh cũng chẳng biết để cảm xúc làm thế là đúng hay là sai rồi. Em lại rời xa anh rồi, em lại rời xa anh. Và Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly, là bài hát mà anh viết nhưng sẽ không bao giờ có em, bởi vì em là người con gái nhan sắc hoa nhường nguyệt thẹn, còn anh chỉ là chàng nghệ sĩ với khu vườn ngập sáng ánh sáng hoa thơ. Em bỏ anh ra đi để anh lại cứ ngồi đây ngẩn ngơ, xin ông trời kiếp cho chúng ta sẽ lại được gặp lại, để anh được nói rằng anh yêu em không cần đắn đo không ngần ngại, để không phải giấu tên em đi chỉ vì sợ em tổn thương, cho dù anh không còn đủ cảm xúc để viết ra bài hát mang tên Vương. Yeah. Mưa nhẹ nhàng trên con phố quen thuộc, anh là mưa cứ mãi rơi. Ngày không em nhạt nhẽo, phố vẫn đông nhưng không vui như khi em ở đây. Đèn đường không bật sáng, ngày không em lạ quá, chẳng còn những tiếng cười, vì anh đã quen ở bên cạnh em rồi. Hút thuốc tóc ngắn cười xì, áo oversize with jeans, babe you're a diamond ring, oh you got my head spinning, I love the way that you swing. Lỡ thích tóc ngắn mùi hương này, nắng còn vương lại môi em khi em cất tiếng ca, vì chắc là anh chẳng bằng mây gió đâu. Chỉ là anh đã quen đi bên cạnh em qua bao phố phường, điếu thuốc là nỗi buồn anh và ngọn lửa là em. Hút thuốc tóc ngắn cười xinh, áo oversize with jeans, babe you're a diamond ring, oh you got my head spinning, I love the way that you swing. Mưa ngọt ngào trong câu nói, mưa nhẹ nhàng trong lời hát ai đã xa vời, mưa ngập ngây trong tâm trí về người con gái anh thương, mưa vẫn còn đâu đây. Hôm nay Hà Nội buồn lắm mà cứ rơi mãi rơi, cũng như anh mong cho dòng ký ức về em nó cứ trôi mãi thôi, dùng cảm xúc vẽ nên hình ảnh em bằng màu của nỗi nhớ, chân những giờ đó cũng chỉ là những thứ đã bị thời gian phai mờ, bởi vì em không phải là người con gái dành cho anh, có duyên để gặp nhưng không có phận, thì dù có cố cũng chẳng thành, giấu tên em trong từng bản nhạc để họ không biết em là ai, anh cũng chẳng biết để cảm xúc làm thế là đúng hay là sai rồi. Em lại rời xa anh rồi, em lại rời xa anh. Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly, là bài hát mà anh viết nhưng sẽ không bao giờ có em, bởi vì em là người con gái nhan sắc hoa nhường nguyệt thẹn, còn anh chỉ là chàng nghệ sĩ với khu vườn ngập sáng ánh sáng hoa thơ. Em bỏ anh ra đi để anh lại cứ ngồi đây ngẩn ngơ, xin ông trời kiếp cho chúng ta sẽ lại được gặp lại, để anh được nói rằng anh yêu em không cần đắn đo không ngần ngại, để không phải giấu tên em đi chỉ vì sợ em tổn thương, cho dù anh không còn đủ cảm xúc để viết ra bài hát mang tên Vương. Yeah. Mưa nhẹ nhàng trên con phố Trái đất vẫn cứ tròn xoay, em là nắng còn tôi là mưa. Gió cuốn ánh mắt chạm nhau, em là ai làm con tim tôi xuyên sao. Vì xuân đã đi qua, hè sang em chưa tới, tôi vẫn nơi đây, tôi vẫn chờ đợi. Vì yêu là mong chờ, yêu là dại khờ. Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly, thì em có giữ lời để quay về. Trái đất vẫn cứ tròn xoay, sao tôi vẫn cứ ngồi đây đợi chờ. Gió kia vẫn trôi về nơi nào để tìm lại ánh mắt đôi hàng mi cong. Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly. Hôm nay Hà Nội buồn lắm mà cứ rơi mãi rơi, cũng như anh mong cho dòng ký ức về em nó cứ trôi mãi thôi. Dùng cảm xúc vẽ nên hình ảnh em bằng màu của nỗi nhớ, trên những giờ đó cũng chỉ là những thứ đã bị thời gian phai mờ. Bởi vì em không phải là người con gái dành cho anh, có duyên để gặp nhưng không có phận, thì dù có cố cũng chẳng thành. Giấu tên em trong từng bản nhạc để họ không biết em là ai, anh cũng chẳng biết để cảm xúc làm thế là đúng hay là sai rồi. Em lại rời xa anh rồi, em lại rời xa anh. Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly, là bài hát mà anh viết nhưng sẽ không bao giờ có em. Bởi vì em là người con gái nhan sắc hoa nhường nguyệt thẹn, còn anh chỉ là chàng nghệ sĩ với khu vườn ngập sáng ánh sáng hoa thơ. Em bỏ anh ra đi để anh lại cứ ngồi đây ngẩn ngơ. Xin ông trời kiếp cho chúng ta sẽ lại được gặp lại, để anh được nói rằng anh yêu em không cần đắn đo, không ngần ngại, để không phải giấu tên em đi chỉ vì sợ em tổn thương. Cho dù anh không còn đủ cảm xúc để viết ra bài hát mang tên Vương. Yeah. Mưa nhẹ nhàng trên con phố quen thuộc, anh là mưa cứ mãi rơi.
Like a brand, it screams team fight for me. Somebody has to take the hit here and play the tank engage.
Lại đội hình kiểm soát à?
Căng
nhờ. Trận này mà oánh cái tài Q cũng được đấy chứ nhờ. Nhưng mà nói chung thì vẫn cứ phải là LNG thôi. LNG hoặc tài Q. Và nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly.
The amount of roam pressure he has, but also the engage setup he gets from this pick is huge for Weibo.
Right now we do have a lot of open scenarios where it comes to the jungle and the top lane from both sides. Again, no tanks from neither team right now. You just have a Cam 10 on the side of LNG, but you definitely want to look towards a more heavy front line. That Ivern was banned away over in game number 3 as well. Double marksman. He does really, really well front lines with the ultimate as well, so you definitely want to get rid of that. However, I'm looking over the side of the LNG and I'm like, are you banning things like the Cassante, things like the Udyr, things like the Aatrox? Because ZDZ can very safely pick them on the red side.
That's also very curious too. Also taking away the Ivern, something we also saw earlier. The Sejuani band against Xiao. So I feel like last time around he was pretty strong on that pick, moving around a lot and being very proactive. See if the junglers actually get more bans here in the second phase, or if they're actually going to try to focus in on that top lane matchup, which I feel like in a game 5 could be super pivotal.
Absolutely. The Rek'Sai being banned here as well. I'm looking to see especially what is going to be the jungle matchup, because there haven't necessarily been any proactive junglers banned so far. They know that Xiaohao really likes Maokai Sejuani, both being banned out from different sides. So I'm looking at things like Lee Sin right now, things like Diego, like Graves, that can match potentially something that Weiwei is going to pull through. So I'm expecting here a very safe R4 top lane pick, like the Udyr, like the Cassante, that ZDZ has been playing a lot of, and then potentially a counter pick when it comes to jungle.
There's the Xin Zhao for Weibo. So Xiaohao has one of his comfort picks from regular season. Also just a lot of spacing tools available for him. The scariest part, I feel like, still, though, is the lack of answers, I feel like, into this Tristana that we have seen be so ridiculously strong in this series. There is the Cassante, and we will potentially see another carry jungler for Weiwei, and right back to it, he's going to get the brand.
I mean, we knew that was coming, right? They paired it up with the Tristana over in game number 3. It worked wonders for them. Now, what does ZDZ have for the top lane? We have seen replies like the Gnar into the Cassante, but I feel like for ZDZ to make a huge impact, he needs to absolutely storm his lane. The Crocodile has been covered one too many times, and I feel like it is most likely going to be the case. However, I'm not very sold so far in what Weibo Gaming has over on the red side. In game number 1 and number 2, we left the drafting phase and we're like, wow, Weibo Gaming, great lanes right here. You have Tristana with priority mid lane. You've got a very stable top lane pick in the likes of Cassante on the side of LNG. You've got a perma-farming jungler in the likes of Bran, who is fine playing against a Xin Zhao, and then the Senna Tam Kent that wants to scale into that late game. LNG have all the tools in their hands to take them to that late game, and Weibo Gaming, and particularly Crisp, I think he's going to have to find some avenues for ganking to try and get that Xin Zhao Talia ahead in the early game.
It's really cool to see that LNG are just deciding, come at me, try to do something early. If you let us go late, we will win this game. We will reverse sweep you. And that has been the story of Weibo so far. They have had struggling times to close out series. They have gone 5 games in a row in 2 series. Last time around, they were able to close it out. This time around, LNG seemed to have momentum.
Absolutely, and of course, playing champions that they know they have already won a game with in this particular series is going to be huge for them. Every single champion that they're playing in their team, they've won a game with in this series. So for LNG, they are playing comfort.
Yeah, they are. And we actually saw LNG win a lot of early trades with the brand last time around. I really like to see them opting into some of the strengths we've picked up along this road to a 5-game series. Only one of these teams can go on to face the next Titan in this gauntlet in JDG. Weibo have gone the distance multiple times, but LNG right and ready to go. The Chillin has awakened, but can Weibo stop their advance? Here we go, game 5. Crowd still energized, ready to go. And again, the last time we could see one of these teams until summer. Some big names on these rosters. Some old friends now turned frenemies. A lot of things on the line for these 2 teams that have had a struggling spring split so far. LNG finishing strong their last 5 series, going very well for them. Weibo, I feel like, struggled a lot towards the beginning of the split, but turning it around as time went on. A synergy between Xiaohao and Xiaohu turned on a lot more. And in a lot of the direction being led to be one of the best side laning teams in the LPL this split.
And what has been so mesmerizing for me now joining the LPL is the caliber of players. We're looking at teams that are number 6 and number 7 in the playoffs. And there's world champions in both of them. It's absolutely mind-blowing. There's world finalists, there's world champions. The caliber of players, the experience, the skill expression is right there. And we did criticize Scout and Xiaohu over early on in the series. They hadn't performed during the regular split. They hadn't showed up. They've been showing up and showing off the entire series, particularly for Scout. He has been trying to pull the weight of his entire team in this entire series. And here he goes again, taking a big chunk off of Xiaohu, hitting that level 2 first.
Feels like we're right back to that game number 3. Scouts found so much dominance against Xiaohu on the Tristana pick. And the Tristana has been dominant in this series as a whole, so some might say the game's already over if you get Tristana here in game number 5, but I think that Xiaohu's going to have a lot to say in that, and some readaptation of their composition for Weibo and the way that they approach it. I don't know if they have necessarily the same side lane strength that they'd be looking for typically, but they are a team in their recent past that likes to go late game as well. They like to be active around that 25-30 minute mark, and that's where they found a lot of success. They've been one of our slower teams, but LNG just do that better. So can they overcome that hurdle?
And I think for Weibo Gaming, they have a lot of tools to actually force fights and skirmishes right here. Playing into a Senna Tamken's lane, most likely you do see the Senna roaming a lot since it's not the champion that's farming down in the bot lane, which frees one Light to farm for the late game. He is playing the on-hit virus here, and he also frees Crisp on the map. The playmaking potential, the playmaking ability that you have on the Rakan in the very early stages of the game, and late stages of the game, the entire game actually, is pretty huge. And we have seen how pivotal Crisp's performance is for Weibo Gaming. Games 1 and Game 2, Crisp was absolutely phenomenal. And right here, he can do just the exact same thing with a pick like
true comfort for him. We'll move up towards Xiaohao here. He lost the Scuttle Crab fight with some vision onto Weiwei early. He's going to crash over to this side of the map, though. There is nothing available for him on this side, so he might be going for a large wraparound. Can't really decide, but we'll end up having Chris clear some vision down here for him.
Yeah, since I was going to get spotted right there, so there's not going to be no ganking shenanigans. They're just going to take down that ward and go back. However, Weiwei right here, again, he is on the superior pick right here. He gets to pressure faster onto the brand. He has much faster wave clear than the Xin Zhao. And as you can see, he's a couple of camps ahead. He has double scuttle too. And honestly, he did showcase how powerful of a pick this brand can be. Especially when he was against the Sentinel. He was taking literally with like a double combo. He was taking down like probably 50% of somebody's HP. So the more you leave him alone and the more he farms, the more he will be a nuisance and a threat when it comes to those later on team fights.
And I hate how true it is, but the meme that started to develop here that Romero came up with, where like with Tree you're happy if you're Weibo, without Tree you're sad. I hope that Xiaohao can overcome that, right? Because we've seen now 2 games in a row potentially where he's not going to have that facilitation. He's going to need a little bit more of the control of the reins. And last time it did not go so well for him. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of a comeback in that regard. As a new and bright face to Weibo. He'll come mid lane to Scout, who will know his face very well. Nice little seismic shove, gonna miss, but forces Scout to step forward. And now he might just go down first blood. One more auto attack, and Xiao Hu gets it. Nice damage covered out for Weiwei. He's gonna have to burn his flash, but Weibo strike first.
That flash dash from Xiaohao was fantastic, trying to capitalize. And we said the curse of the Maokai is that the only thing you can play, is that the only thing your team can be successful with. Xiaohao with the instant answer to your question right there, Mazel. You were talking about it. He displayed it for you. And that is a very great shutdown early on onto Scout, taking that flash from the Tristana as well. You see the aggressive dash forward coming in from Scout. So he knows that the trade has been made. Xiaohao is going to take his birds right here and just stole around that mid lane. He has actually vision. He was on vision, so I'm not sure what happened right there. And once Scout flashes away and the rocks go down, you can no longer rocket jump or you get stunned in place. Great gank right there from Xiaohao for Scout. A little bit questionable in terms of having vision onto the jungler. Potentially he thought he could survive that and Weiwei would wrap around.
Kèo game 5 là LNG nha anh em nhá.
Kèo
game 5 là LNG nha anh em nhá. Nhắc lại một lần nữa LNG.
And ZDZ over to Weibo, placing some big shoes. Weiwei on the other side, those shoes for Xiaohao. And ZDZ replacing the Shy. Some big moments for some not new rising stars, but some rising stars nonetheless. Xiaohao definitely a little bit newer than that. But I want to take a look at now Weiwei's success on his side of things. He's gotten a CS lead. He had those double scuttles. Now he has Scout that can pressure and move out of lane. He can utilize some of these solo lanes to get an advantage for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Your job as a Xin Zhao is to play aggressive in the early game, to gank, to try and be frontline later on. And Weiwei has been doing the exact opposite. he has been farming. He's going to be the damage dealer for his team, and it seems to suit him so much more, especially playing right here for LNG. Just the play style overall suits him. You know, Hang playing more of a tank frontline for his team, having Zika as well on some sort of frontline champion too, and allowing Weiwei to unlock his carry potential through the legs of Brown, through the legs of Nidalee. It seems that it works so much better right here for LNG, and so far, yeah, you're about 15 CS up onto the Zinzao, which is a pretty normal case, honestly. But right here, Xiaohu is going to priority through the mid lane, and they are chasing Weiwei. Weiwei's just too fast at taking these camps. You ain't gonna catch him.
What's important now is Xiaohu utilizing his Weaver's Wall to get active in the sidelines. Light sidestep, so he steps up, but not gonna find anything after the hail of arrows. Now, Hung did take a decent amount, will heal back from the Grey Health, but I'm still looking at Xiaohu to start being proactive with the Weaver's Wall and see where he can get some pressure on the map. And right now, he's hovering with some vision towards bot side.
He's hovering towards bot side. I think it's mostly about...
Booster 2.8 vì nó là cửa dưới bác ơi.
If you do know where Weiwei is, you do maybe have some potential to play towards an invade, especially with Xiaohu and how aggressively he shoves in the mid lane waves over and over again. It actually has been a pretty great case of Xiaohu being able to get that priority in the mid lane due to the fact that Scout is now missing his flash. It's not as
Nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly.
His jungler a lot of that pressure that actually frees Zinza to maybe look for Weiwei, look into the jungle, potentially invade and take down that brand before he gets completely out of control. Talking about out of control, he's almost nearing 30 CS. Diff.
It's pretty huge. Pretty huge. I do like that focus that you're putting on Xiaohu a little bit, though, because on his time on RNG, he was definitely the general. He would always look to be making plays inside lanes. Even when he was top lane, he would always call plays from there. So nice to see him kind of take that control a little bit for the Weibo squad yet again. I mean, obviously a sophomore year for him for Weibo. But I think with a double marksman composition for LEG, starting to move around the map with Gala feeling a lot more confident to roam around Scout, this is a deadly combo against Weibo.
Absolutely, and shocker alert, LNG are playing for Void Grubs once again.
No way.
They've loved them the entire series. They're one of the teams that do prefer to go for the Void Grubs, especially since their side lanes are going better. You know you're going to have Tristana. Again, we saw it in Game 3, absolutely lethal. However, Weibo, they have TP onto Xiaohu if they want to pull the trigger and fight this.
Ooh, the all-out is going to bring the fight for ZDZ to the front of the helm. Now he's going to have a ton of damage onto him. Xiaohu's going to go back in with the Crescent Guard. More grubs completed, though, for LNG. They get the first spawn of those mites. Weibo got one of them, though. And Hung makes his way out of there. LNG got what they came for. They
nhau chiến thêm mà không ai chết kìa.
Weibo tried to answer.
They got in, they got out. Scout
nếu nắng gió có cuốn em đi như là lời hứa ta đã nói lúc chia ly.
Great macro right here from Scout onto this Tristana and LNG. Even though you mentioned they lose a couple of the summoners, they got what they came in for. They got the Void Grubs buff. They've got the 5. They're gonna have that onto the Tristana to pressure heavily onto these side lanes. However, right now there's a bunch of major key ultimates missing and summoner spells for the side of LNG, but they have been known to drop the first 2 dragons anyway in this particular series, so I would expect no contest for that one either.
Yeah, it looks like Weibo are just going to take prime position with that Scuttle Crab taken. Now, Hung and Gala are moving over this way. They do have Weiwei over here, and Scout is available. He can move up a little bit quicker, as they are going to move around. They have the scry, so they are able to see Weibo positioning over here. So actually a lot of pings coming this way. We're going to look at priority through mid to try to get this tussle going.
Yeah, and if you look on the top side of the map, Zeka has TP available to him, so it's not going to be a 5 versus 5 for Weibo. It's going to be a 4 versus 5 to their disadvantage. You don't want to be taking these fights, so they're going to wait out ZDZ's teleport as well as his ultimate, and I think maybe this is where you would pull a trigger to try and fight. Again, Renekton, very, very strong early on. However, there aren't many items that have been completed. There's actually is only one. And that's Rylai's onto Weiwei, but that item is so freakishly strong. The slow that you can apply onto melee champions like the Zinzao, like the Renekton, is that CC that you need for all the other spells to stick on them.
I do really like Weibo's cohesion in getting these dragons right now in this series, and in this one in particular, try to get something of a lead in objectives. And we'll take their second dragon of the game. LNG might be caught in the mid lane as ZDZ was looking for a flank, doesn't pull the trigger on that one. A little bit of maybe hesitancy to full in as they got their dragon they needed.
Yeah, and ZDZ walked all the way down bot, not wanting to burn his teleport. Scout's just gonna dodge that knockup as well. He'll be back in top lane just in time. However, Weibo Gaming are looking for a dive bot. There is flash on Scout.
He's in a lot of trouble. He does get the call from his support hung. Pulls off the advance of Weibo. Does end up clearing out the rest of that. Actually got his coal completed from that as well. Ooh, nice. Oh, he hit the piercing arrow the wrong way though. Gala still falls to light, or to Xiaohao rather, and that'll be a second kill to Weibo. And even if you miss it, it still works.
You know what? I'm just gonna say that he tried to BM. He didn't. I'm just saying it for fun. He's like, I don't even need my Q. I don't even need my Q to kill you. Of course, this ramp, this particular ramp, is an AD carry or a mid lane killer. If you get caught in this ramp, chances are that you're not making it out alive of this one. That was a very nice ultimate coming out from Light to catch Gala onto the transition, as Hank had already TP'd down bot lane to save Scout. It's gonna win them a little bit of tempo on the map. You see the resets have already come through. There's no pressure on the map. Gala's just catching the wave underneath the tower, and honestly, it's just a very slow game from both teams. They've got massive scaling on both sides. You've got the on-hit Varus versus the Senna. However, scaling does benefit the side of LNG, the Brand, the Tristana. Such great champions to have over in the late game, particularly paired up with the Senna. So I feel like Weibo Gaming, even though they do scale in the likes of Varus, they need to make some more moves to make sure they're ahead enough to get to that late game.
Rift Herald already about half health, already almost gone rather, and Weibo moving in. Xiaohao trying to get the smite fight over Weiwei. Weiwei will claim that one anyways. A couple souls come out, and LNG pushed back a little bit as Xiaohu hits a nice little psychic shove. Nothing else going to be there, but more objective control towards the top side for LNG. They're actually able to wrap around here. Nice move from Weibo to push them off of it. They could get this outer tower now.
I'm getting a little worried because Crisp had a pretty good flank from the top side of the map, and a lot of health bars were pretty low by a really great combo from Xiaohu. However, I guess instead of taking the 50-50 fight, you are opting to go for that mid lane tower, which is huge. We've mentioned how much it does for vision control, and especially when you have immobile carries like the Brand, like the Senna, that will want to walk out on that mid lane to take the wave. Depriving a team off of vision can many times catch these carries off guard from a side lane flank, from a flank through the jungle.
Rồi niềm đau có chóng quên. Quên càng nhớ thêm để về tưởng trong lòng xót xa. Đừng như con lít.
A lot of the time it felt like they needed sustained damage. I'm glad in a game 5 we're getting a Varus carry from Light that is sustained damage and on hit so far.
Yeah, I'm loving that too. For Light, you're gonna have to face the
anh hàng tuyển, anh phải chuyển. Yeah, yeah.
So tanky. They're gonna be playing right in your face. Always rebuilding all of that armor. You see Frozen Heart already, Gauntlet. You're going for Thornmail probably, slowly but surely on Zuka as well. So it's not going to be that difficult to penetrate through all of this armor that LNG is building, and there isn't necessarily any other consistent AP damage threat. You do have the Talia, but it's more of a burst champion. You get that combo, you burst someone. It's not like something like an Azir that can dish out damage that much easier. So I'm getting a little bit worried, I'm not gonna lie to you, for Weibo Gaming, because it's like the more stable the game gets, the better it is for LNG. They have more damage scaling into that late game. They've got a heavy front line going into this late game. For Weibo Gaming, I think they're going to have to heavily rely on Crisp finding these creative flanks to get into this backline and assassinate like Weiwei, Scout, or Gala. Obviously not a lot.
We talked about a little bit of LNG's comfort zone in the later game. Weibo looking to set up a play here. Weaver's Wall coming across, but just a little bit late. Here comes the quickness play with the grand entrance. Double TP, and the Avengers have been called here. LNG want to strike right back. Xiaohao with the Crescent Guard delays a lot of time and a lot of spacing. Now their TP right back, and Zika gets caught out on his own, and he's down for the count.
And one member down means Weibo Gaming get to walk in that river for free. It's a 4 versus 5. There is no teleport for Zika. He literally just used it to get into this mid lane fight. Not a lot of key ultimates remaining for Weibo Gaming, but they do have the numbers advantage. This is going to be so point for the Mountain. Nonetheless,
lấy cái lồn gì mà nó lao vào cái pha đấy nhỉ?
Tristana, Brand, Senna. Might be a game breaker if they do manage to get that soul later on in 5 minutes.
Gonna claim that one. Light realizes he might have walked the wrong way, ends up going the other way around. Rift Arrow's gonna be popped up in mid lane. That outer tower is still there. They should be able to crack this one, although Xiaohu is right around the corner and tried to delay this one.
Rift Arrow has been popped. And ZDZ is looking on the flag. I think LNG cannot pressure this one. Again, Suka all the way in that bot lane trying to catch the wave. And with Scout over on the top side of the map, this is going to be a refill that was not worth the time investment to take in the first place. But again, the creative flanks that we talked about, Great Wall will force a couple of summoner spells from Xiaohu. And then a creative flank from Crisp coming in. And now Xiaohao onto this Xin Sao gets to push everyone away and force them way too far forward. Suka overextends and ends up paying the price. Great fight right there from Weibo Gaming. They're baiting people into the wall. And again, I think it all relies on Crisp. If he does find the same flank, it's all peachy for Weibo Gaming.
Flanks are huge. Xiaohao being massive with those Crescent Guards is going to continue to be a mainstay of the fight for Weibo. And that's what we kind of talked about from draft, is he's going to still have some of that utilitarian style for him, because he does have that Crescent Guard that delays all the long-range damage that LNG are going to be trying to do. And I think now that we're getting to a point where Weibo have a little bit of the decision-making power on the Rift, now that they are one step away from the Dragon Soul, they can work with that a little bit in their comp strengths. I still think they need to be proactive, because you do not want to be at a even 1,000 gold lead going to this composition further into the game.
Absolutely, and I feel like for Weibo Gaming, as you mentioned, having the 3 dragons here, you have the chance to pull LNG across the map. You can play the Fog of War games, you can play for Baron. If you want to allow LNG to stop you from taking a soul, that's actually super meaningful right here, because it's Mountain. It stops a lot of the damage coming through from LNG. It's huge songs for Weibo Gaming if they do manage to get that Mountain soul. You want to let it go through, you got 3 more tries if you're Weibo Gaming.
Khấn đi thầy ơi, đang khấn đây.
And play for the pressure
Rất căng nha.
So right here, LNG are the ones that are going to have to make the choice, and they're going to be pulled apart on the map. This is something that T1 does so freakishly well on the map, is pulling the opponent team apart when they're ahead in the game by creating vision pockets. And then when a team will walk in to try and take down your vision, this is where you swap to the other side of the map and you threaten an objective.
Yeah, we've seen Weibo use that well in these playoffs and in the regular season, especially towards the end of the season itself. But I think now with this presence around this dragon, they're going to be just fighting for quality assurance from mid lane. Get some vision around here, because that could, be just putting a nail in the coffin if they already start spawning the Elder Dragon on Rift. But again, it goes back to that conversation of they have that decision-making power. We have second item now for Weiwei. He's going to be very strong with the Leandries completed. Navori also completed for Scout. So LNG will have some punching power of their own.
Absolutely, lots of creep power coming in from the Tristana. And Varus just completed second item as well. He's going to be that Rage Blade. That consistent damage that you were asking for going into the light of a Tam Kench. And a level 13 Cassandra, you need to be able to pierce through all this armor built through both of these champions. And right now for LNG, that was a scouting Senna ult right there, just to make sure they're not doing the Baron. Again, you see, this fear is creeping into you. You only see Talia on the map pressuring top. This could very easily be a sneaky Baron for Weibo Gaming, and LNG are making sure they're using the resources, they're using the Senna ult to make sure that Weibo are not on to this objective. However, 1 minute time, that Senna ult I don't think it's going to be back up off of the cooldown, and in 50 seconds, it's going to be the next fight coming up for Dragon. You definitely want that shielding power, that sniper power that it gives you. Both teams setting up, and you definitely want that mid lane prior if you're Weibo Gaming. However, LNG do not have a tower to fall back onto, so they're trying to gain some river control through that little pocket entrance.
Could just try to use some of this pressure if they want to, but look at the flank coming through from Crisp. He does have an angle. LNG are moving with their tanks down from mid lane. Going to try to collapse on Crisp already. ZDZ has been spotted out there by the control ward, as it should be moving back towards mid lane. LNG going to try to collapse onto Light, actually. ZDZ is still on the deepest flank. He's going to see another control ward. He's like, dang, there's another one here. He just can't find the way through. He's just going to have to brute force it as the seismic shove goes wide. Xiaohu, he gets caught. Gala, his old teammate, gets the root on him. He's going to have to burn the flash. Now Xiaohu in there on the back line. Crisp already popped the quickness and just goes down to the explosive charge. Now the rocket jump reset is there for Scout, and he might find another one here. He can't get the damage down because of the crescent guard. And Xiaohu under turret with Light, but it might be too little too late. Will the Light falls out of, and it goes dark. ZDZ is here. Xiaohu's here. Now TP from Xiaohu. LNG might be in a little bit of trouble now, but they could just collapse. It is a 5v2 because Xiaohu is no longer in this fight. He's clearing the wave ahead of the fight.
Do the damn Dragon, LNG! You've taken already one member down. There's no way Weibo Gaming are going to be contesting with all their major ultimates down and one man down, but LNG are getting a little bit greedy, which actually has allowed time for Light to spawn back on the map in 10 seconds. This could have very easily been a Baron threat from the side of LNG, having so much damage in the likes of Tristana, Brand, and Senna. However, it's not going to be the case. And right here, Weibo, all they have to do is just be very patient. Xiaohu gets hit by the Senna root right there. This is the patient for ZDZ to clear out the vision and play as a side lane threat. Chris goes in, Xiaohu is on the side. This is not a proper front to back. And Xiaohu, almost ends up dying as well. Then there'll be a huge chase from LNG underneath the tower, and it's just going to result in LNG taking the soul away. However, it was very, very messy from both sides, and LNG almost overextending there for kills.
Oh, they're just going to ride that wall all day long. They actually find Weiwei completely caught out, and Light claims the kill. Now Hug just sacrifices his life on top of it. It's a 5v3, and Weibo are on the Baron.
They catch Weiwei into the jungle. Your smite is down. There's only 3 members remaining from the side of Weibo Gaming, and they're trying to do their hardest to push waves onto the map, because once this Baron buff goes down, there's going to be immense pressure from the side of Weibo Gaming. Really well done actually here from LNG to minimize their losses. They know they're losing 2, they're losing the Baron. They took 2 towers mid and bot from the side of LNG. Still, this is a very, very close series between the two. It could end up going any way possible, but right here with Weibo Gaming having that pressure with the buff on the map, this means that they can get very easy vision control for the next Dragon to come in 3 minutes. And as you can see again, Weiwei, he is on vision. They have spotted him at the blue buff, and everyone jumps onto him. You'll see that Hang actually tries to blast on himself over to try and devour him and probably spit him out the other way, but he gets stuck on the Weaver's wall. What a very well-placed wall coming out from Xiaohu.
Xiaohu stepping up big. A third item, though, for Scout. He has Lord Doms. That tankiness not going to really be there from the front line any longer. There's a couple power spikes coming online, but Weibo utilizing their strengths. Only a couple thousand gold lead, but they can have Xiaohu and Xiaohu have big engages to really set themselves up. Okay, ZDZ with the Baron buffed onto a tier 2 down here. Weibo need to find a little bit of gold back with this after they lost 2 turrets during the take of the Baron.
And as you can see, look how in a straight line Weibo is. They're yo-yoing between top and mid. Between bot and mid the entire time. This whole quadrant of Weiwei's jungle belongs to Weibo in terms of vision right now, and they want to be crushing both waves at the same time. to try and break through that mid lane or that bot lane. You mentioned a lot of stand and go right here, but I feel what the most important thing for this Baron is to try and create some vision control for the side of Weibo. You use your Baron buff for pressure, for vision control, so that then you can have pretty good vision to flank around the next dragon fight, because the previous one was disastrous.
Scout, he gets devoured. He is saved, hung there as a guardian for LNG's carry.
Ooh, that will free up a little bit of space actually for the Renekton to walk up bot lane as well, since 4 members of LNG are defending that mid lane. And the next wave is gonna be coming. They're looking for light.
Wait, Scout just jumped in. He just gets chunked. He is out with his flash, barely able to survive. Gala flashes forward to take down Light. And now Gala is pretty worse for wear after that one. Weiwei is trying to get some tankiness in onto Weibo's backside. He will end up flashing out away from Xiaohao.
Gala just completely ignored creeps, teammates, enemy frontline just going in. Scout is coming back in.
He doesn't know. Scout has no chill. He wants more. Here comes the Abyssal Voyage, and there's one for Scout. He claims it with the explosive charge.
Đội hình thằng Quy Bú này Quy làm sao được?
It's a double flangle, and now Scout's finding another rocket jump, and he gets locked down by ZDZ. Gala has joined the fight, and LNG do not want to give up the fight.
Thế thầy Hello Ngọc Tiến nốt trận này đừng nghỉ ra. Em địt mẹ em đánh từ 5 giờ đến 10 giờ chưa xong phải chết. Vừa đánh từ 5 giờ đến 10 giờ chưa xong thì biết sao bây giờ đấy.
And let's look at this again. All eyes on Galar and Scout, because they're just gonna jump forward. And the second Scout gets chunked here, the Devour doesn't exist anymore because Hank used it prior. But look at, he ignores everything. Creeps, teammates, enemies, anyone. He has only eyes for Light and takes him down. By taking down that AD carry, it frees Scout to actually TP back in, knowing that Xiaohu is super low in HP. And they have an idea that the TP is coming.
Chết tươi. Một con rồng đất này thì là nguy hiểm nha.
already on the other side. Scout getting engaged on by the quickness. Chris, he's getting low. He's gonna go down after the explosive charge, giving a reset over to Scout, who's already dead though. And now ZDZ, he's in there, gets his Sterix gauge pop. The dragon goes over. Mountain Soul has been acquired, and Weibo have set their sights onto LNG. Xiaohao wants that fight, and he'll take it all day. Light
mất rồng đất thì chết rồi. Thằng Chitana chết nhanh ấy.
This whole game has been back and forth fights. Weibo Gaming managed to get out of this one with 2 kills and the soul. And a knock-up right there onto Zika.
Chết nhanh quá.
A 3rd kill for Weibo Gaming. But we talked about how pivotal for the game is to get that Mountain Soul. They do not have much tankiness on the side of Weibo Gaming. There's no particular tanks or tank champions to frontline for them. They just have a Renekton and a Zinzao, 2 bruisers. Right now, with the addition of the Mountain Soul, they can actually frontline much more easy. I would say, in terms of LNG having so much damage to dish out their way. But again, the damage comes with a lot of downsides in terms of immobility. And right here, Crisp, you'll see he tries to find the angle from the side. He instantly sees Scout through the side and engage, splitting the fight.
Đéo hiểu sao đi mẹ nhảy sang chịu thật.
Frontline for his team. And right here, the team trusts ZDZ to tank this. Light has come back onto the dragon to finish it off with Xiaohu, and this is where they re-engage. And again, we talked about that yo-yoing back and forth, up and down in teamfights with Weibo Gaming and how.
Vãi lồn thằng Scout nhảy lên chết con mẹ luôn. Tôi đéo hiểu nó xử lý cái lồn gì pha đấy. Bịp. Không sao, vẫn 50-50 thôi. Vẫn cần tiền. Vẫn cần tiền, vẫn cần đồ. Hơn con rồng đất thôi. Bên LNG nhiều sát thương hơn. Bên LNG những ba nguồn sát thương cơ. Cái lồn má thằng Scout quả đấy mà sống thì win combat rồi. Đánh vãi lồn thật. Đánh như thằng áo ấy, địt mẹ. Lồn Scout chuyên bán độ.
You see that pivotal importance of that mid lane power. The second that vision went down, Chris
Quả có bắt cuối này. Rồi nào win luôn này.
Gala extremely immobile, way extremely immobile. You pin them down, you'll have a renekton on your head in no time. So LNG need to put down their vision very well when they want to push that mid lane wave, because it's going to be Baron next, and they need some vision. That oh, Crispy's lurking. He's on the other side of the rift.
Xiaohu's over here like, all right, maybe I can help you out a little bit. Ooh, shield bow just got completed for Scout. He will join the fight. Baron already half health. Weaver's wall to block out LNG. It's gonna last just enough time for them to take it down, although it will be a fight they need to take afterwards. Pyroclasm starts coming down. Chris gonna pop the quickness, but haven't gotten
ZDZ.
He gets clapped and he gets all outed. That's gonna be a kill over to Gala. LNG get one back, but 4 purple capes for Weibo.
4 buffs remaining from the sort of Weibo gaming, and I feel like it was the right call right there. I feel like they didn't necessarily want to fight, but they didn't want too many members to die. Therefore, Chris presses the ultimate, tries to threaten the backline of LNG. However, LNG has a few seconds right here to maybe try to put some pressure on that mid lane tower. Scout diving forward very aggressively into 4 members of Weibo Gaming. They will manage to take that mid lane tower, and yet another Baron buff bites the dust.
It's crazy to me how back and forth this is.
How many more?
I'm here for it. Let's go for another 30 minutes. I'm perfectly fine with it. We are reaching the comfort zone of these two teams. Their seasons on the line.
Mẹ nhảy cho em, tầm này nhảy hết. Địt mẹ Chitana nó bắn hết.
It has to go to Elder Dragons.
Chấp 10 con rồng đất.
And full builds. We're getting to 3.5 items already for light, and we're gonna have some pivotal moments coming up in just the next few minutes. All of the seasons that these 10 players have been working towards is on the line and gonna be done within the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I wish I could know actually. Oh no, there was no Zonias there. That was just the arm guard, which means that you do not have the power of that stopwatch. That is going to be huge. Let's see if that will actually cost Xiaohu the next fight. However, we've seen all the... I actually wanted to see the gold on Light, because we've seen Light clear the jungle over and over again, trying to get potential to that GA.
Rồng ngàn tuổi quyết định nào. Địt mẹ an được rồng ngàn tuổi thằng đấy win.
A mid lane tower going down for Weibo Gaming means that they need to fish even deeper to push down their wave. But they cannot overextend with Talia or Varus in the mid lane, because they're gonna get punished. They do have a lot of vision in enemy territory. And they do have also teleport onto the Renekton, who's pushing towards that bot side of the map. Very
Elder
nice vision.
Dragon coming up in 35 seconds here. There is a little bit
Bắt
of vision
ZDZ
down
à?
there. LNG are collapsing onto
Bắt được không đây?
the rest of Weibo
Có
are
tốc
here
biến
to
bắt
try
kiểu
to
gì?
stop it, but they are streaming down onto ZDZ. He's gonna use this slice out.
Ôi địt con mẹ mày lại nhảy. Con ngậm nuốt. Thôi địt con mẹ mày bán độ vai lồn ông sờ cao ạ. Thôi. Thôi, bán độ thế thì chịu. Sờ cao, what the fuck? Sờ cao, what the fuck?
They thought he was all alone. They only see Xiaohu, but everyone flies
So
in
Cao?
the screen. And Weibo Gaming, they thought they could close it 3-0. It was
Thằng này bán độ kinh thật.
Monday.
Địt mẹ mày nó bán.
They get it.
5 games.
All 5 games, it's over. It's done for. The Tiger King of Spring has
Bán độ kinh vãi lồn. Nhìn này.
Make good on their summer playoff loss, and they'll
Huge. Let's see if that will actually.
Cái lùm má đó chứ. What the fuck, sao lại nhảy vào? Nó là một thằng tanh mà. Tại sao lại nhảy vào pha này? Tôi đéo thể lý giải được tại sao lại nhảy vào pha này luôn ấy. Xong rồi đi con mẹ thằng kia vừa nhốt vào cái đi mẹ nhổ con mẹ ra chết con mẹ luôn. Kinh thật sự luôn đấy, bán thật sự kinh tởm vãi lồn luôn đấy.
them when they wake up, and I don't know about the Maokai or no Maokai, but Xiao Hao on this Xin Zhao.
He's all smiles.
It was a joy to watch.
It was, and that's where I want to talk about LNG a little bit. Obviously, their season being done.
A
team that had a lot of pressure on them, right? Scout being a big name, Gala having so far.